My husband's stepsister won't leave us alone, so we left the country.
Get out of there.
Get out of that country. Me, 27 female, and Callum, 28 male, met in college, fell in love, and decided to get married once we both found stable jobs and a little life footing. Callum is the nicest, sweetest guy on the planet, but also a bit of a people pleaser. He'll bend over backwards, hold up, to not hurt anyone's feelings. That's relevant later. To explain why things went the way they did for so long. By the way, this comes from Public Sense 1503. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, a bit of info about me. I have dual citizenship. My dad is Canadian, but I went to college in the States in the same city my maternal grandmother lives. And my family, super chill. Unless hockey is involved, then the gloves come off.
And here we go.
Callum's family, not chill.
They suck.
His mom is actually fine. She's the ex-wife of his dad, but dad and stepmom, not so much.
Enter Layla.
Which we love Layla.
Yeah.
Generally. Who at the time of this story was 21 female. She is Callum's stepsister from his dad's remarriage. She's been in his life since she was a little kid, but the critical detail here, Layla has had a crush on Callum for years.
Wait. The stepsister?
Don't go into the washing machine, stepsis. The crush. Layla has been a painfully obvious crush on Callum since she was 14. At the time, everyone in his family brushed it off as cute and puppy love. They make comments like, isn't it adorable how she follows him around? Which totally ignored how uncomfortable it made Callum. Once Callum moved out, he went low contact with them, mostly to escape Layla. Didn't take the hint though. She kept sending weirdly suggestive selfies, faking emergencies to guilt him into visiting, and worst of all, making threats of self-harm if he didn't pay her enough attention.
Dude, why isn't this family doing anything to stop this?
It was emotional blackmail, and Callum, being the nice guy he is, felt torn between guilt and genuine unease over her behavior. Throughout our time dating, Layla was absolutely clingy. She'd get furious if he ignored her calls, bombard him with text messages, and would show up at his apartment and later our house, seemingly determined to insert herself into every moment of our lives. Meanwhile, her mother, Callum's stepmom, and Callum's dad did nothing more than coddle her, dismissing her behavior as nothing more than harmless puppy love rather than stepping in to address the escalating boundary violation.
That's so frustrating.
Now our engagement. Layla's going to go bananas. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, Callum and I got engaged. He planned a sunset picnic and did the cheesy ringing glass stunt, but with sparkling apple juice as I don't drink. When we announced our happy news, Layla immediately lost it. She posted sad, dramatic TikToks, wrote mopey captions on her socials, and repeatedly called me a gold digger, which is wild because we're pretty much on equal footing financially. Layla's parents suddenly decided it was Callum's and my job to manage her feelings.
I'm sorry, if I don't usually encourage clapping back on people's socials, but honestly, I would just go on all of her posts and say, "You're into your stepbrother?" ? And just leave it at that.
They insisted we postpone our wedding because it was too distressing for Layla and that her mental health was fragile, which is probably true, but it's not OP's job. I maybe stand in and get her some help.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
get her some therapy.
Her mental health is fragile because you guys did nothing.
They even floated the idea that Callum should go to couples therapy with her to work out their relationship issues.
Why would you go to couples therapy?
Yes, you read that right. Couples therapy, not family therapy, couples. Suffice to say, that was a no from us, but Callum did offer to attend family therapy, and we were even willing to pay for it.
Stop.
They refused, and the guilt tripping escalated. Relatives on that side of the family started blowing up Callum's phone, telling him he was being cruel by not taking Layla's emotional turmoil more seriously. Meanwhile, Callum's biological mom, who's divorced from his dad, saw the situation for what it was and encouraged him to cut everyone from that side off and go no contact, just like she did. But Callum wasn't quite ready to go that extreme just yet. As I said, he is a people pleaser, but we are working on it. Now, the wedding dress. Because of all the drama, I decided to do dress shopping with only my mom, my maid of honor, and a couple of close friends who were honorary bridesmaids, as I didn't plan on having a full wedding party. I didn't even think
I don't even think once
to invite Layla or her mom. for obvious reasons, but that didn't stop Layla from showing up unannounced to the dress shopping.
Who does that? She probably freaking showed up in a white dress.
I'm here to take
I've also
your place.
brought my own priest. I have him on retainer.
He's ready to stand in anytime. He can object too. He'll object to
He'll do it
yours
all.
and then do mine.
It's really quite easy.
One-stop shop. A friend posted a group picture in front of the building to her Instagram, which is how Layla found out where we were. I was in the middle of trying on a gorgeous A-line gown when who do I see in the mirror's reflection behind me? Layla. Dude, it's like a horror movie.
Layla, hi, it's me, Layla.
Here's Johnny.
I don't remember everything that was said. Stress plus time equals fuzzy memory, but some moments are burned into my brain, like the way Layla stormed right over to me, looked me up and down, and sneered. Wow, they actually have dresses in your size?
Wow.
I'm not a twig by any means. I love carbs way too much, but I do work out regularly, and I'm proud of my body. Yet hearing that while wearing what had been until that moment my yes dress was like an ice cold gut, the old one too.
Gut hit.
My mom and friends were too stunned to respond right away, as was I. But the boutique owner, an older, clearly battle-tested woman who must have seen every type of bridal meltdown under the sun, stepped in, informing Layla in a stern and overly sweet tone that this was a private appointment and she needed to leave. Layla's response? It's probably going to be measured and regular.
Yeah, probably like, oh, sorry, didn't know that. I'll see myself out.
To declare that she was the groom's sister and had a right to be there as this was her brother's wedding, she then started pulling dresses off racks at random, tossing them aside with nasty comments about how each one didn't suit me or wouldn't fit.
Baby girl, you can't have it both ways. He's either your brother or your lover.
Yep.
You can't call
choose
them
a
both.
side. It took a bit more back and forth and threats of police before Layla stormed out. And of course, Callum's dad and stepmom tried to twist the situation into it being my fault. Why didn't you invite her in the first place? You know how sensitive she is. Just the same old tune of Layla's fragile. Cater to her every whim. The silver lining? I still found my dream dress that day. It wasn't the one I'd been originally going to pick when Layla showed up, but one that I personally think was far better. That night, Callum and I had a long talk. And we agreed that Layla, and by extension that side of his family, would not be involved in any wedding events outside of the actual wedding and would be on an even stricter info diet. If they kept pushing, we'd have no choice but to disinvite them entirely. We knew it would stir up a hornet's nest, but we were out of options. We did all the needed things to ensure our wedding was drama and stress-free, passwords with all our vendors, a day of coordinator who also recommended a security company, and several other measures to be taken. No plus ones unless we personally knew them, etc.
Dude, you know what this kind of sounds like?
What?
The final test.
They're like, oh, you had to get through Layla before you could have Callum.
Yeah.
You had to know that you were strong enough.
I mean, yeah, the love is strong if you can get through all this. Well, meanwhile, Callum's dad and stepmom kept pushing. They said we should be patient because Layla's mental health was delicate. And Callum's dad even threatened to not attend himself if we didn't let her come to my bridal shower, which honestly felt like more of a relief than a threat, which brings us to the next arc in this drama.
The bridal shower.
Not the bridal shower.
Oh, wow. We're not even a quarter done.
Dang, man.
There's a chunker. My bridal shower was a Bridgerton-themed high tea.
Cool.
Because your girl was deep in her Bridgerton era. Picture
Valid.
a dozen of my closest friends and a few relatives, mom, grandma, and cousin, dressed to the nines, pinkies out, sipping from delicate teacups and speaking in fake posh accent. Oh, it was honestly perfect. Lots of laughter and zero signs of drama. But the moment we left that bubble of the Regency-inspired bliss, my happy mood absolutely tanked. We stepped out into the parking lot, chattered about how wonderful the evening had been, only to find my car had been vandalized. Both side mirrors were broken, almost every panel keyed, 4 flat tires, and scratched on the hood was one word: salute. When the police arrived, they asked me if I had any idea who might have done it. I could think of only one person. Olivia, who do you think it is? Using your powers of deduction.
Must be that retainer priest.
I never trusted him.
Never trusted him.
It was Layla. The officer said they do what they could, but with no security cameras in that particular lot, it was basically a lost cause unless someone confessed or we had direct evidence. My insurance ended up covering part of the damage, but the timing and the emotional toll was brutal. I remember sobbing on the curb, tea, dress and all, feeling so utterly
Ugh.
done. At that moment, I even considered if staying with Callum was even worth it. No, don't let her take it. She's going to win. Don't let her win.
Don't let her win.
He was and still is. And of course, when we told Callum's dad and stepmom about the incident, they said there was no proof it was Layla and that random acts of vandalism happen all the time. Right. Because random vandals regularly write that particular insult on vehicles parked at bridal showers. And yet, none of this prepared me for what Layla did next.
The break-in.
Oh, man, do we have a lot.
Layla, I really think that you have to talk to Callum and say, dude, I understand that you have people-pleasing tendencies, but like, I feel like my life is in danger.
Yeah, I mean, this is getting dangerous.
Layla is crazy.
I mean, she's destroying property. What's next?
Destroying property.
But now we get into the break-in. So, with the wedding just a few months away, Callum and I took a quick weekend trip to visit my parents because the stress was real. While we were gone, Layla apparently got a key somehow, still don't know how. Her goal, we still aren't entirely sure, but my friends and I believe she might have been looking for my dress, which I hadn't picked up from the shop yet as it needed alterations. What she did, however, was go room to room, wreaking havoc. She ripped our framed photos off walls, destroyed them, then she pulled clothes out of my closet, leaving a huge mess and torn fabric and broken hangers, poured bleach into our fish tank. We know this because she left a bottle next to the tank, and worst of all, she stole my engagement ring.
Oh my God, jail.
Now, my question is, like, why would you take off her engagement ring, which I bet you she's about to answer. Now, to answer the question that I know you'll be asking, I had 2 rings, a simple band that I wear daily and has inset diamonds. The band so they don't get snagged or damaged. Then I have my engagement ring, which is the fancy diamond ring that I usually only wear on special occasions. I'm clumsy and worried about knocking out the stone. Both rings are part of a set with my wedding band and can be worn as a ring stack if I want. And no, I didn't get my engagement ring back. We don't know what she did with it, but it was insured, so I did get a very nice replacement and even a second proposal ring along with it.
Yeah, you better. I mean, you have to deal with this crazy family.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for putting up with me.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is wild. If not for the cameras across the street that the neighbor had, we might have thought we'd been burglarized by a random stranger. But no. Who did we see entering our house like she owned the place? Layla. She even parked in our driveway. The audacity still rankles me. We called the police and she was ultimately arrested. But of course, her parents and the monkeys came flying to the rescue and she was out on bail soon after. And of course, we were to blame.
How?
There was not one word of an apology, not one drop of remorse, just gaslighting and blame shifting. According to them, we were blowing things out of proportion and that Layla was just emotional.
She broke into their house. How is that just emotional?
Every phone call or text from the side of the family left us exhausted, anxious, and even more determined to keep them at distance. That was the final straw. About darn time.
Dude, I'm sorry.
No more straws to be given.
Arrest Layla. You have proof.
Finally, we have proof, says Brianna Coppola, but I mean, she's on bail, so she can still cause more ruckus.
What is this?
I'll never forget standing in the middle of my destroyed living room, shaking with rage and heartbreak, knowing there was no going back. We were done trying to compromise or be polite about Layla's behavior. If she'd proven anything, is that she'd escalate as far as she could if we didn't draw a hard line. Because we learned I was pregnant while on our weekend getaway, and if Layla was willing to go this far over a wedding, we couldn't even imagine the length she might go if a baby was in the picture. I laid it all out for him that day. I was done, and either he came with me or we were done too. Thankfully, that served as a wake-up call that Callum needed. Now we're getting to the next part of this story.
Elopement.
Canceling the wedding.
It's got to be an elopement.
Original plan was to power through and still have the wedding, albeit with strict security. But after the break-in and now knowing I was pregnant, we decided enough was enough. We were done putting up with Layla and her crazy. So we officially canceled the wedding. This was both out of sheer exhaustion and because we honestly feared for my safety. Layla was arrested for the break-in, but let's be real, that doesn't magically fix her obsession. Yes, we could have gotten a restraining order, but a piece of paper, don't stop crazy. We lost some of our deposits, but honestly, that was the least of our worries, and we're going to Operation Ghost, or so my friend jokingly called it. Our plan was dramatic and perhaps a wee bit extreme, but my friends and I had a lot of fun coming up with it. Step 1, fake a breakup. Why? To redirect Layla's focus off me. Our logic was that if Layla thought Callum and I were no longer together, maybe she would back up. The breakup story was also to give me cover to move out of our house and leave the country. Destination, Canada, where my parents live and I have a support network of family and friends to depend on. That's crazy that
Insane
Layla
that you-
is so
yeah.
terrible that you had to move to Canada.
But also fake a breakup.
Yeah.
Lie about it. Leave under the cover of night, and her parents still cannot.
Her parents
conceive.
haven't held her accountable at
all.
all yet. That's crazy. That's the craziest part. I feel so bad for OP. Tidesha Powell says, I would have left him, to be honest. Sorry, but I have yet to find a man that makes me want to allow my peace to be harmed.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
But it's not his fault. I
it's
mean,
not
like,
his
if
fault,
you
but
really
the-
love him.
I do think that, the things that I will hold against him is that he's not kind
He
of
was not
cutting
adamant
us off.
enough.
He
Yeah,
he was
the people
pushing-
pleasing.
yeah.
I took all my things, what we could salvage after Layla's break, and that is quit my job and went to live with my parents. I changed my phone number, blocked a bunch of suspicious accounts, and basically went quiet on social media. If Layla or her minions tried to stalk me, they'd hit a wall of inactivity. Meanwhile, Callum stayed in our old place for the time being as we had loose ends to tie up. The lease on the house we were renting, his job, etc. Thankfully, our landlord was very understanding as we'd already discussed not renewing our lease, both because we wanted a bigger place and because he wanted to sell. After moving out and shipping me the few things I'd left behind, Callum stayed with a friend, ignoring the offers to stay with his dad and stepmom, and continued working for another few weeks. Firstly, because he wanted to leave his employer on good terms and worked through the requested notice period. And secondly, because he had a particular date in mind for his departure, which was about as petty as I got in this entire saga. Originally, we'd set our wedding date for midsummer, and after we canceled, Callum's dad's side of the family decided to turn that date into a support Callum party. Layla was apparently in her element, feeding them nonsense about how I was never good for him and planning a party that would be far better than what our wedding could have ever been.
Oh my God. She's like, it's going to be the best wedding. I mean, party
Yeah.
for Callum.
Best engagement party for us. I mean, just regular party.
The priest, the
yeah.
party planner.
They're
is
just going to
gonna-
be there. They're not even going to do anything
No.
unless something crazy happens, which I'm
He's
Layla.
just my,
I make
he's my
crazy
priest on
happen.
retainer. It's not like anything.
It's going to happen. No. It wouldn't surprise me if she'd even bought herself a white dress for the occasion. What they didn't know was that I'd booked Callum's flight for the morning of what would have been our wedding day. He never would show up to that party. He didn't text or call to tell them he wasn't coming. He just turned off his phone and ghosted them. Happily ever after, minus the crazy in-laws. That's the next section of the story. To this day, Callum and I remain no contact with his dad's side of the family. His mother, on the other hand, has been an amazing grandmother, loving, calm, 100% free of drama. She lived across the country from us and never really got involved with that side of the family's antics. I'm so thankful we have had at least one grandparent on Callum's side who can shower our son with affection without bringing a tornado of nonsense through the door. We've built a safe, stable, and loving home. Callum's thriving in a new job. I'm soaking up every moment of stay-at-home motherhood. I work but remote, and our sweet boy is growing up surrounded by loving, mentally stable grandparents, great-grandparents, and uncles. If you made it this far, I salute you. I know it was long.
That's what she said.
Trust me, before I polished it up and trimmed out all the minor things that happened in between, it was a lot longer. Stay safe, set boundaries with the toxic in-laws, and if all else fails, a fake breakup and moving to another country might just do the trick. And we have an update.
Ooh-wee.
You thought this was
You
done.
thought we'd wrapped it all up.
No, you thought, oh, such a nice little bow. There's
Oh,
nothing
Layla.
crazy that's going to happen.
Layla could never possibly.
She can
pull
come to
out
Canada.
stunt.
She doesn't know how to fly. No, Layla knows how to fly, and so do her flying monkeys.
Nice.
Storm Kitten says, yes, we love a happy ending. Wrong.
Wrong.
We got an update.
And it might be happy.
But it might not be.
Family reaction.
Sunny says, aren't they siblings? What the heck? They're step siblings.
Step sibling.
They're step siblings. And apparently OP and Callum are the only people who find anything weird about that.
While we don't have a lot of details, we know from some friends and former coworkers that his family went around asking about him, and they were informed he moved away, but he didn't tell his coworkers where. And those that did know knew enough not to spill the details to his family. Layla did get into a verbal altercation with one of my friends at her work, trying to demand if he was with me and where I was. The police were recalled to remove her from the store. While not much happened beyond that, just another day in the Walmart, she was banned from the store as my friend manages it. Callum's family knows that my family lives in Canada, though not exactly where. They know which city, but it's a big one. There were some attempts to contact my parents, but those were either ignored or met with stonewalling, and my parents ended up changing their numbers. Oh my God, they're after doing so much.
Wow.
I believe they do know we have a baby and got married, but they aren't privy to our exact location. We can't completely cut them off from learning details since we still have contact with his mom and her side, who posts online, as well as friends and other family members. We do ask that posts contain no pictures of our son or us, but I know we can't control everything. As for our wedding, after all the stress and drama of our first attempt, we decided to scale down our plans. We got married in an intimate backyard wedding with only a very few close family and friends. While I couldn't wear my original dress because my baby bump made it a bit of a tight fit, it's a dress that isn't overly wedding. One of those reasons I chose it, and I ended up wearing it for our first anniversary while we recently celebrated. And now, next part of the story, Layla's arrest and charges. Maybe finally some karma being caught up.
What?
Finally some karma catching up with
Bin Kata?
karma.
Then you said Bin Kata.
Some karma.
Being caught up.
Bin caught up?
Karma's catching up.
Okay.
God.
Thank you.
Finally, karma's catching up because it was her first official offense and her parents got her a good lawyer. She ended up taking a plea deal. She didn't serve jail time, but was sentenced to probation, mandatory counseling, and ordered to pay restitution for damages, which was paid to our lawyer into a trust and then allocated to us.
Good.
From the time Layla was arrested to the court hearing, it took around 6 months. There were multiple delays, mainly because her lawyer requested extensions, according to what our lawyer told us. We weren't there for the hearing itself, choosing instead to submit victim impact statements and such through our lawyer. It was partly to avoid further emotional distress, but mostly because by that point we'd already moved away and attending the hearing in person felt like taking a step backward. And there's another update called minor issues.
Oh no, we were doing so well. Everyone was getting what they deserved.
I know. I thought it was like, oh, that's an even nicer postscript.
Yeah, I was like, yay.
But at least there's minor.
Just minor. It's not major issues. It's not like Layla's back.
No.
She's back.
Yeah, maybe it's just like she's annoying us on social media or something.
Yeah.
Because there was so much ongoing drama, I originally trimmed my post for brevity, but here are a few things that occurred. Engagement party crash. Layla crashed our small friends only engagement party barbecue, which was to announce and celebrate our engagement with them. Layla showed up at the house and dramatically burst into tears, claimed we had purposely excluded her. Callum's people-pleasing ways and desire not to cause a scene came to the forefront, resulting in Layla joining us.
No.
She spent the entire night whining about the food, pouting and attempting to eat things off his plate, asking him for his jacket because she was cold.
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
Well, damn, Jackie, I can't control the weather.
It wasn't cold, and he wasn't even wearing a jacket, and various other small antics to be the center of attention. I, meanwhile, decided to punish him by keeping well away from them both so he could reap what he sowed in letting her stay. My go-to line was, "It's your sister, not mine. You deal with her."
Fair. If he's going to let her stay and be the people pleaser, then he's got to deal with the consequences.
And then next job sabotage attempt. I suspect, but I have no real proof, that Layla and her friends tried to sabotage my job by making false complaints to HR alleging inappropriate behavior. Thankfully, my boss knew me well enough to see through the claims, and we have cameras, which they reviewed, but it still led to an uncomfortable conversation with a lot of anxiety over my job. I also suspect it isn't the first time she has done this, as I was let go from my previous employer from complaints about my conduct with customers. Oh my God. She is
doing false claims to get you fired.
I mean,
and nobody followed up on that.
Layla has successfully
Ruined
everything. Successfully. I mean, at least the marriage wasn't broken up, but she's been pretty.
But she canceled she got the wedding canceled. She got them to literally move countries.
I mean, say what you will about Layla, but dang, is she effective.
She's a hard worker.
Hard worker. If only she applied that to anything else. So fake illness. Layla pretended to have a severe illness while her parents were away on holiday. She lives with them, desperately demanding Callum to come over. She sent him panic texts claiming she could hardly breathe and she thought she might die because she couldn't find her inhaler. Callum, genuinely concerned and too nice for his own good, rushed over with me along for the ride, and she opened the door in a skimpy nightgown, throwing herself at him while wheezing and coughing. She miraculously recovered after seeing I was there. For context, she has asthma and often uses it as an excuse for attention. One more thing on the same note, she once accused me of trying to unalive her because I'd worn some floral perfume around her. I didn't stop wearing it after this, but she continued to accuse me of wearing strong perfumes afterward, even though I'd long since stopped wearing them and only use minimally scented roll-on. Next part of the story, social media. Oh my goodness, Layla. Layla was rather active online, posting vague yet passive-aggressive statuses about how the family betrays you and men are scum who don't know what they have. And while I have no proof, I suspect Layla and her friends were the ones creating anonymous accounts to spam my social media with hateful comments, insults about my appearance, and accusations about being unfaithful, a gold digger, and more. I did lock down as best I could, but even my phone would get spammed with messages, and I had to change my number several times as she was, I suspect, using my number on various websites for quotes and callbacks for salespeople, insurance, etc. Then there's a wedding registry sabotage. Again, I have no proof, but someone with access to our wedding registry started marking nearly everything as purchased. This was found out when a friend asked me what else we might want, as everything on the registry was taken. With everything going on, I don't know who else to accuse but Layla. These smaller, though still wildly frustrating issues made the larger events feel even more exhausting. Writing it all out makes it even clearer that we should have set more boundaries and enforced them way earlier. It wasn't that we weren't trying, because we were. We made numerous attempts to set firm boundaries, from directly confronting Layla about her behavior to limiting contact to explicitly laying out what was and wasn't acceptable. But every single time, we drew a line. Callum's family pushed back, accusing us of overreacting and being cruel, and pressed Callum to be a good brother because his sister needed him.
Someone needs to pick what they want Callum to be towards Layla. Because you
I'm
can't
just-
keep switching it up.
I just don't know how they see all this behavior and are not
It's not
trying to put
insane.
some kind of line there.
Like, what?
It felt like fighting a constant uphill battle, with Layla always cast as the victim and us made out to be unreasonable villains standing up for ourselves. For me, I'm not a people pleaser like Callum. I am more roll my eyes and move on kind of person. So I initially let a lot of things slide, thinking it wasn't worth the energy or stress to fight every small battle. I figured Layla would eventually get bored, which she did not.
No, Layla finds ways to entertain herself.
I thought she'd grow out of it, or at least redirect her obsession elsewhere. I even tried to set her up on a date at one point while Callum and I were just dating. God help that guy. Oh my goodness.
Watch out.
Yeah. She wasn't as bad before we got engaged, and back then most of her antics were annoying but manageable. It was only after we announced our engagement that Layla's behavior escalated dramatically. When we were dating, it was things like Layla constantly texting or calling Callum late at night, having small emergencies just to get his attention, like having an asthma attack. And now I'm writing this, I am wondering if her allergic reactions were her purposely eating sesame or sesame products, or if they were legitimate mistakes.
With Layla, you never know.
Then there was her showing up unannounced to his apartment, and then our house after we moved whenever she knew we had plans. She once let herself in very early in her dating days and had a complete breakdown after finding us in bed, sleeping. This should have probably been a red flag,
Wait,
but
I'm
I was a
sorry,
bit
wait,
lovesick for my husband back then. Who am I kidding? I still am.
She broke. Wait, what happened?
She like broke into the house and then
broke into the house
went
and she
into
was
the
like,
room.
"Ah!"
Went into their room and was like, ah. She also regularly tried to guilt trip him into canceling dates by pretending to feel lonely or abandoned.
Good.
Once she even threw a tantrum because Callum spent Valentine's Day with me instead of her, claiming he was neglecting family. God, now I remember that one. It really makes me cringe. But while annoying and frustrating, these things felt more childish and cringy rather than outright malicious, so I mistakenly thought she'd eventually grow out of them. Clearly, we underestimated how far she'd be willing to go. By the way, you should never underestimate how many episodes we have of OK Story Time. And you can go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Story Time. There's another relevant update. And I'm just going to go straight through it. Truthfully, writing this now, if I was the person I am today and was back at the start of dating Callum, I don't think we would have made it past the first few months. Not because Callum, he's always been wonderful, but because the family drama and like Layla's obsession would have been an immediate deal breaker. The older and wiser version of myself recognizes that love alone isn't always enough. Healthy boundaries, mutual respect, and emotional safety matter just as much. Thankfully, Callum eventually saw this too, but it was a long journey to get there. And a really good therapist definitely helped, as did some of the books on enmeshment she had us read. Honestly, it's eye-opening now to see just how much we tolerated / overlooked in the name of keeping the peace. And that is where that saga
Truly a
ends.
saga.
My goodness, Layla needs to learn some boundaries and maybe learn that in the confines of a very small cell.
Wowie.
Wowie. Well, we got one more story. I mean, it sounds like she just never got therapy. It sounds like she was never given boundaries that she respect. It's really bad.
But let's get into this next story.
Oh, wait, that's a great. Wait. Can I dunk my head in cold water really quick? That's.
We'll be back.
All right.
Unbelievable.
I am ready.
All right, let's do it. Sam's wearing a towel now.
Wait, how do you do the thing that ladies do?
You throw, so you did it. You had it.
But it wasn't quite there. So
Yeah, then you just twist it.
okay, so I twist it.
Twist it.
Like
Just
this.
twist it. And then, yeah. And then throw it behind you.
My stepmother used the Bible to shame me after I got engaged.
Oh, religion and shame go hand in hand.
Hand in hand. By the way, this comes from the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
No way.
This is-
Okay, Storytime original.
This is one of our very own, so we got to be on our A game today. We got to be on our A game, and trigger warning, homophobia in the story. So, good day, y'all. Hey, I'm Kyle, 25 male, and I've been married to my amazing husband, Jeff, 27, for 2 months now. We live somewhere here in California. This story took place a year and a half ago at a family reunion, which also doubled as a wedding anniversary celebration for one of my uncles. It was at this event I announced my engagement to my longtime boyfriend. Cute, right?
Cute.
As long as you get I thought we were venturing into engaged at the wedding territory, but seems like everyone was on board. Yeah. By the way, this comes from Kindly Principal 337, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit, like OP did. Now, my family is proudly Catholic, yet they have been accepting of my identity as attracted to the same gender man. My parents divorced 5 years ago, and my father remarried 2 years later. He's met Jeff multiple times and has treated him well, as he should. He even refers to Jeff as his son-in-law, and they often bond over golf, NBA games, and other activities that I don't usually share with my father, being a more feminine attracted to the same gender man. My father has 3 other sons, all married, and I'm the youngest. We weren't close growing up as he was in the army and missed a lot of our childhood. He's been trying to make up for that in the recent years. My mother, who passed away a year ago, always supported me and asked before she passed away that I let my father walk me down the aisle one day. Oh,
That's adorable.
my heart.
Oh, my heart cracked.
Now, my brothers, ages 30, 32, and 35, are also in the military. Man, military family over here. 1 in the Navy, 2 in the Army. They've always supported me and called me Little Princess.
Oh,
If that's how you feel supported, hopefully lovingly.
I guess it's okay.
Oh, man. When I came out to them in high school, they embraced me wholeheartedly, often joking that I was their long-lost princess trapped in a male body. I guess that's cute. They defended me from bullies and never made me feel less than. We like that. We love that.
W.
In May of last year, Jeff proposed to me. He asked for my father's blessing first and then proposed at our house with a cake that read, "Will you marry me?" Our shared memories played on the TV, graduation, trips, family reunions, and both our parents witnessed the proposal. And I said yes.
Oh,
Cute.
freaking cute.
Pure unadulterated cuteness.
We love on this show, y'all. We love love.
I asked my father not to tell my brothers right away because I wanted to share the news with them personally. At the time, my third brother was stationed abroad and we didn't know when he'd be back. So in July, during the family reunion at my uncle's house, the mood was casual. My uncles teased Jeff and me, and while not everyone was thrilled that I'm attracted to the same gender, like Uncle Ben, a veteran who frequently says I'd be better off straight, oof, I felt supported overall.
All right.
Good gravy, Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben often says, maybe it's a blessing you're attracted to the same gender since our bloodline never had a girl. When the sexism cancels out the homophobia?
Win.
Are we winning? It's true. No female cousins. One cousin once replied, "At least we have a princess," to which another joked, "Our princess should wear a dress." Most of it was lighthearted teasing, and I didn't take offense. My aunt said little about my identity, though one often muttered things like, "I'm lucky none of my sons are defective." Oh, that is...
man. That's a little yucky.
That's super yucky.
That's a little yucky. I also wonder if, all the family, the close family is saying the princess stuff in like good spirit. And then the extended family is saying the princess stuff in bad.
Yes, because I think it could obviously get dicey, but it seems like OP feels fully supported and, has to like defend. The brothers always defended him from bullies and embraced him and everything. But yeah, it's like once someone else, it's like, hey, you're an outsider. You don't get to use
you don't get to do that.
This is our language because we're close like that.
Our thing.
Dinner came and I knew it was time to announce the engagement. Nervous but encouraged by my father raising his beer, I stood up and said, I'm getting married. A beautiful moment, right?
A beautiful moment that will not be ruined by any daft uncles in the crowd.
Nothing bad is going to happen.
Nothing bad.
Except for Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, no.
Uncle Ben,
no.
we thought you were cool.
We thought you were all about, with great power becomes great responsibility.
Where's that sage wisdom?
Maybe that's the quote we're going to get from Uncle Ben.
Maybe that's what we're going to hear.
But let's see. What does Uncle Ben have to say?
Oh, something different. Uncle Ben quipped, "Oh, you found a girl?" My cousin quickly chimed in, "He's the girl," referring to me as the bride.
Is that in good? Is that like okay? That he's the girl?
I cannot imagine. Also, I think this is the cousin. Not the. Remember, the brothers are the one that had the princess nickname, right? This is. I'm sorry. I just cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. I have to feel like OP's like.
I wonder how OP feels about it. I feel like probably not great about Uncle Ben, but I know like OP has been okay with the princess talk beforehand.
Yeah.
So I'm curious how this sits with OP.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So my cousin's wife congratulated us warmly, while Aunt Karen muttered, "So you'll never get fixed." Her kids shut that down with cheers.
That's great. Okay. At least there was people on OP's side.
Goodness gracious. Jeff was prepared for some negativity as long as my father and brother stood by us. But this drama centers on my stepmother's reactions, not the extended family's comments. My sister-in-law called her husband, the deployed brother, to tell him the news. Later, when we were in the living room playing games and the kids were asleep, my stepmother entered the room and declared, "Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure, for God will judge the adulterer and all the spicy-related immorality."
Is that a quote?
I get
I
probably
think she just freestyled that.
Dude.
just homophobia off the dome, dude.
Wow, dude.
Man.
She's got that crap on lock.
Didn't even need to write it down. She just went for it.
Please don't write that down.
Don't write it down, please. Unfortunately, it had to be just to share the story on OK Story Time.
Yeah.
The room went silent. My cousins asked what she meant. Jeff asked what was that for, clearly offended. My cousin's wife identified the verse, Hebrews 13:4. My stepmother continued, claiming being attracted to the same gender is a sin and that I'd burn if I married Jeff in a church. Jeff calmly replied, calling her out by name, "Seems like you're quoting at the wrong time." I had no disagreement. She continued quoting verses, including husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church, and eventually said, man must not lie with man. I could feel Jeff's discomfort, and I froze, unsure of what my father would think if I spoke out against his wife. But when she opened her mouth again, I lost my temper. I threw my adult soda at her and said, "May the holy water shower you with blessings."
That's pretty funny.
Okay, we don't condone
That's pretty funny.
throwing things.
No, we don't.
But,
We don't. That is the most hilarious.
Throwing a little,
Yeah.
just some adult beverage, a little spritz.
A little sprinkle.
It's funny.
That's
it's
pretty
funny. Cannot lie. She screamed, called my father, and declared, "This is what happens when you're attracted to the same gender. No respect or upbringing. Where's your respect?"
You're literally yelling just terrible things at what should be a happy moment.
What happened to love thy neighbor, or maybe love thy son-in-law? One would think you would want to maybe be nice to them.
Yeah, let's get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah,
those lines don't matter.
Yeah,
the love
yeah.
of your neighbor stuff.
Yeah, that's not the quote I'm trying to read. This quote. I'm trying to read this quote over here. Stupid. I snapped back, telling her that she didn't raise me, asking if she even counted as family, and remarking, "You can't even bear a child." Jeff and I left.
Damn.
Yeah, that was an exchange right there.
Digging deep.
Boy, oh boy. Later, I got text and a voicemail from my cousins. My sister-in-law said my father and stepmother fought after we left. Hopefully, father defending OP and his fiance. One brother called to check on me. Uncle Ben texted, She's not wrong, but she's wrong at the same time. Uncle Ben, you need to stop chiming in.
Uncle Ben it just says the most unhelpful things
You know what I think?
at the most unhelpful moments.
I think, like you said earlier, he sees the brothers razzing and he thinks he's like in that same pocket of like, oh yeah, I razz you, but like I'm like still like on your side. When it's like, no, Uncle Ben, you're no.
Yeah, Uncle. Like I feel like Uncle Ben is very bigoted, but trying to like be on OP's side.
Yes, and thinking he's like kind of in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't know if Uncle Ben's quite in.
Let me read the full text. So this is the full text Uncle Ben sent. She's not wrong, but she's wrong at the same time. The princess is standing up for himself. Let me talk to your dad about his second divorce. That made us laugh. Another uncle warned us to drive safely.
Okay, maybe Uncle Ben is okay.
Maybe he isn't.
So I'm a little confused by this familial dynamic.
Yeah,
honestly.
this is.
It's like, wait, is that okay or is that not okay?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
I feel
unsure.
like we're bouncing back and forth.
I'm unsure. My brothers texted Jeff instead of me asking where we were. Before our wedding, my father asked if I'd try to reconcile with my stepmother. I agreed and met her at a cafe. She started the conversation with, "You're ruining my marriage."
I think you're doing that yourself, buddy.
Yeah, and also you're ruining my marriage
Yeah.
because you suck. What are you doing? She told me to cancel the wedding and marry a woman if I wanted to be a part of their family.
I mean, no.
You did.
I don't want
don't get
to.
it.
How about no?
How about you respect me and my soon-to-be husband if you want to be a part of my family? Like,
do the reverse Uno on them.
like this is my dad, my cousin. This is, you are a stepmom, and I'm reading in between the lines. I think like married when OP was an adult. Like she didn't raise him.
Yeah, married in.
Holy moly! After that, I texted everyone, brothers, father, Jeff, his parents, and our wedding organizer, saying she was not welcome at the wedding or rehearsal dinners.
Fire.
Yes, absolutely. She's gonna say this shit during the wedding. Are you kidding me? She's gonna ruin the whole thing.
Yeah.
I called my eldest brother almost in tears and told him everything. He spread the word to my family, and my father was furious. At the wedding, my father proudly walked me down the aisle. A week later, we attended a church service together with my husband and immediate family, stepmom included. She claimed she was walking on eggshells.
Well, when you're trampling like a unsheathed rhinoceros, and you're probably going to realize that you're bumping into things and breaking stuff, but it's because you're actually rampaging, not because there's eggshells everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it felt more like she was burning in the holiness of the church. I joked I was surprised I wasn't burning myself. That's good. I said, hey, I guess we're still good.
I think we're good. We're still cooking.
Oh my God. My brother asked if I felt hot. Jeff replied, he is.
Oh.
You know, I love their have
banter.
a good,
Their banter's
their
pretty
banter's
good.
phenomenal.
Their banter's on point.
Got to give it to him. Really love that. 2 months into our marriage, our father and Jeff's parents bought us a house as a surprise. Oh,
W surprise.
dude.
Oh my God.
W. I love this.
Oh my God.
My stepmother ruined the surprise by texting me not to accept it because it was near a church.
Dude. But all right. Just by her own logic, wouldn't him being near a church be better because maybe he would be infected with the Lord's holy graces?
I mean,
Or do you believe he's more powerful than the church?
dude. Yeah, come on. See, I thought God was powerful, man.
That God was all powerful.
Even Jeff didn't know about that one. I asked my brothers about it, and they told me the gift was from their combined savings and my father's personal funds. Oh, also, just really quick, if I am in father's shoes and my wife, who's not the mother of my child, who I married later in life, keeps saying these things about my son, I don't know if I can continue this relationship. She keeps doing it. She's clearly not changing herself or accepting him or anything.
I mean, if I was the father, I would be like, wait, that's my son. Like,
Right?
You can't be talking like that.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think, Sophia?
I agree. I
Yeah.
would not want to be in a relationship with someone who did not support my family members, especially like a child.
Yeah.
Not that he's a child, but like my hypothetical child.
Indeed. Your hypothetical adult child as
My
the father of the family.
In my hypothetical fatherhood
Indeed.
of my hypothetical adult child, with my hypothetical homophobic wife.
There's an improv character for you.
There we go.
Lot to work with.
Hypothetical.
A lot of meat there. Hypothetical. My eldest brother asked me to act surprised when the house was revealed. I joked I might be an a-hole for knowing in advance. My second brother said, I didn't fight in a war for my princess to rent an apartment. Dang it, I love him.
I love him.
Dang it.
That's so good.
His wife laughed in the background. Oh, and this little princess? He's meeting his stepmom again this weekend. Stay tuned. I'm betting Jeff's third leg. She won't have anything nice to say about my marriage.
Jeff's third leg.
Dude.
Dang.
And
Jeff be packing.
Listen, if I have to guess out here, Jeff's got a hog.
Jeff's got a hog.
You know, I think they're happy honeymooners. I think
yeah.
I think that's what's going on here. Dude, we have an update.
Oh.
W family, absolute W's. Well, I guess some of the extended family.
Half the family's a
All
W.
the close family.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
close family is fire. Stepmom sucks. Question: do we go to dad and be like, "Yo," not that I'm like trying to like control your marriage or tell you to divorce or like anything like that, but like, yo, your wife is bugging out.
Your wife is whack.
I feel like I would at a point. Just be like,
yeah.
she's,
I think she's
you know,
been so out of sorts, and it feels like actively trying to damage any relationship that OP can have. So yeah, I think I would bring something up.
Yeah, I at this point, I think I probably would sit down and talk to Daddy-O.
Daddy.
And this is Ugg says, no baby carrot Jeff. Shout out to the story from a few episodes ago.
Oh, baby carrot.
All right. Well, we got an update, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, y'all, and happy Mother's Day. Maybe recent. Well, except to a certain someone. Hey, it's not Stepmother's Day, all right?
No. Only mothers.
That's right. This all goes back almost 2 years, but I feel like the drama never ends. I'm writing this late because me and my Jeff just got home. Sorry I couldn't figure out how to copy and paste the link here. But here's the updated, y'all. When I announced my engagement to my now husband at our family reunion, my stepmother decided it was the perfect moment to read us a Bible verse. You can guess the type. It was clear she was disapproving of our relationship. Fast forward, we didn't invite her to said wedding. That was a mutual decision between me, my family, and Jeff's family. Since then, we have tried to stay civil. Jeff and I agreed at first, try kindness, but now she's overstepping again.
Now it's war.
Now it's war. And for the record, yes, I am keeping my husband's third leg. Boom.
Stand on that third leg.
Yep.
Stand on that third leg. Tripod on that thing.
It's very strong
It's
from
sturdy.
what I'm guessing. It's very sturdy. Just this week, she texted me out of nowhere, telling me not to accept the house that my father and brothers had secretly been preparing for me as a surprise gift for me and Jeff. The family bought OP and his husband the house as a gift.
House.
Amazing. Absolutely love it. Apparently, she found out and tried to sabotage it. I later confirmed with my brothers that this house is something that they and my father have been working on for over a year, and even Jeff's family chipped into it. It was never meant to be a contest between families, just a gesture of love, but clearly someone can't handle that. And that someone is named Stepmom.
Stepmom, stop it.
Stop doing that. To add insult to injury, my stepmother claimed my father was just using their joint account to fund the house. She showed me no proof. Then she questioned whether I'm even my father's son.
How is this not grounds for the dad being like, all right, this girl too crazy. Get out. She's literally accusing the dad of stealing money from their joint account, right?
And having an affair baby. Cheating and having an affair baby just now.
Yeah, come on.
And being insanely homophobic to his son.
Like, is there not a limit?
Where's the line?
I feel like we've crossed the line so many times, and I do like that the dad is being supportive of OP, but not supportive enough. Like at a certain point, you can't just apologize for someone that you're associated with. At a certain point, you have to separate from that person that you're associated with.
Yeah, and especially when you're married to him.
Especially when you're married.
That's a cosign right there. Then she questioned whether I'm my father's son, hinted that my sister-in-law might be cheating because she's pregnant with a girl. Our bloodline doesn't produce daughters. What? Who is this woman?
Stepmom.
And said there's no way a attracted to the same gender child like me could be related to her husband.
He's too straight for you.
Oh boy. Strike 3? Question mark. She implied I might turn my young nephews attracted to the same gender by being around them as if queerness is something contagious. My goodness. For the record, I am a feminine attracted to the same gender man. Yes, but I dress appropriately around kids. My brothers support me fully and have taught their kids that love and identity aren't something to be ashamed of. Dude, veterans teaching their kids
I love that.
that love and identity isn't something to be ashamed of. I'm here for it. Anyways, after that awful talk, I told Jeff everything. My father later called and asked if I fought with his wife again. Apparently, she told him I said she's not allowed around my nephews. I never said that. She's spinning stories to manipulate the situation, and I'm done playing nice about it. Later, I called my eldest brother. She's currently on military leave, and he told me that even if I wanted to decline the house, it's already a group gift.
Why would you decline the house, though?
Yeah, this is...
Wait, what? I'm confused.
Meaning, like, even if he did...
Even if you wanted to decline it,
he's like,
you couldn't.
Like, nope, we're giving you this house, and we love you, and we're going to do whatever we can to support you. Sorry, buddy. We love you, and you're going to get this love.
Yep.
No ifs, ands, or buts. Jeff's parents, my sister-in-laws, everyone is involved, and honestly, it means something to them. Yeah, I mean, that's like... It's like, hey, this is
a part of us.
Yeah, I won't let her ruin that. This woman has been undermining me since day one. My uncles and father raised us with strong family bonds, even while deployed. My brothers and I have maintained those values. We support each other, our partners, and our kids. We show up. We were raised by 3 wonderful moms and 3 great dads. Yes, our big extended family and the community we've built is beautiful. Again, that's the aunts, uncles, and cousins there. Not what is it again? Polycule.
Polycule.
Not a polycule. Just for the record. So no, I'm not giving up the house. I'm not letting someone who clearly dislikes me dictate my worth or my family's love.
Hell yeah.
Stand on business. By the way, if you want to build up your self-love and self-worth, well, I've got a great solution for you.
What's that solution, Johnny Bahami?
Go to Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and search OK Storytime. You've got 2,000 episodes of good advice given goothily to feel good and grow as a person. It's pretty great.
We love that. We love it.
But we also have the end of the story.
Oh,
coming up
boy.
here.
I
Any final
just want the dad to like step up. That's
Please.
what I want. I love that everyone else is, and I love the dad is doing something, but not enough. I want stepmom to be kind of cut out the family.
We need more. We need more going on over here. So, Uncle Ben, yes, I have an Uncle Ben, even suggested to dad that maybe it's time for another divorce.
That is what I've been saying.
You know what? Uncle Ben might have come around the corner.
Uncle Ben came around. I like Uncle Ben.
He's grown on me, man.
Uncle Ben, what a guy.
With great uncle powers comes great uncle responsibilities.
Yep.
Not out of hate. He wasn't suggesting a divorce out of hate, but out of concern. He says we don't owe her anything and we shouldn't bend to someone who can't accept us. Very true. To everyone out there who's ever had to stand up to a toxic step-parent, relative, or well-meaning closet guard in the family, you're not alone. Family should be built on love, not control or shame. Amen, brother. Thanks for reading. We'll figure things out. Definitely not my last update, but apparently, if ever my father decided to divorce the saint, I might write again. But this is all for now. Thank you. And guys, again, this is one of our very own. Kyle. From the
Shout out Kyle.
Is in the r/OK Storytime subreddit. This is one of our very own.
So give some love to Kyle in the subreddit.
Give some love to Kyle in the subreddit,
Give
man.
some advice.
Would love the update. Please send that through. Give a little, recap of what happened and then dive into it. What happened next? We would love to hear it.
But if there's one thing that we can do in this story, cut out stepmom.
Cut
her
stepmom.
out.
You don't deserve. I feel like OP is very so understanding and forgiving that is like, okay, let not, I don't want to say let things slide, but was so kind to maybe to the point of his own detriment. He doesn't deserve that.
No, he does not.
Yeah.
Also, does TLDR bot work? Is that?
I keep trying it, but
Womp
womp. That's where that story ends. But now where the episode ends, we got one or two more.
At least one more.
At least one more story for you.
My stepmother is shameless. Wearing white to a wedding isn't even her worst offense.
Okay, no thoughts.
How does it
That's
get
the worst thing you can do to
How does
someone.
it get worse than that?
Oh my god.
They need to study her. Now, my stepmother and I have a long running history going on 14 years now. She came into my life when I was very young, and she's been tormenting me ever since. I have tons and tons of stories about her, but this one will give a brief history of her antics. The backstory is a chunk of it, but very important in the events in the title. By the way, this comes from user EmptySize66X. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my stepmother is not liked by my father's side of the family for many reasons. One, she didn't treat my sister, father, or I very well. And two, she drove my father into debt with her high shopping sprees. My stepmother also has 2 children, a daughter who is a little over 11 years older than me. I'm 20, which would make them 31, and a son who is 3 years younger than me. My grandmother lived across the street from where my sister and I grew up. She helped my dad out a lot after my mom left, and she watched over the 2 of us like hawks.
Ooh.
I think she had an intuition about my stepmother because she didn't like her very much from the start. Came to a boil one day about a month before her and my dad got married. My grandfather had just passed away, and one of my older cousins was outside doing yard work for my grandmother. My grandfather had a little playground put in for my sister and I, but we had gone to see our mother for the weekend, so my stepmother took my stepbrother over to the playground. It was all nice and dandy until my stepbrother started taunting my cousin, saying, "Your grandpa's no longer alive, ha 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 ha." And we had just been to the funeral the week beforehand, so the wound was still pretty open for all of us. My cousin, yeah, I mean, like, look, little kids sometimes do really stupid stuff, okay?
Yeah.
My cousin told my stepmother to tell him to stop, but she just kind of stuck up her nose and said that he was fine. He was just being a kid. Girl, correct his behavior. Are you kidding me? Side note, my stepbrother is now 18 and super entitled. My cousin was very upset, so he went up to the house and told my grandmother. My grandmother was a tough woman when it came to my stepmother and defending her grandchildren. She marched down to the playground and asked my stepmother to leave, as she wasn't welcome on her property if she was going to allow her son to speak in the manner that he was. My stepmother retaliated and called my grandmother a bee. My grandmother swore back at her, and it led up to my stepmother following her up the driveway and my grandmother throwing a doormat at her.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
I can't even picture that.
There was always tension around the holidays after that, and my grandmother's hatred for my stepmother grew throughout the years as she learned about how we were being verbally. She suggested to my father many times that he needed to get a divorce for the sake of my sister and I, but he didn't. My grandmother became sick about 4 years after they got married. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and while she did go into remission, it did come back. My cousin was living with my grandmother when she was diagnosed, and they had a very close bond with one another. My cousin got engaged a little over a year and a half before my grandmother passed. They found out that her cancer had returned not long before his wedding, and she was super sickly, so we knew that this may have been the last big family event we were all going to have together. And it was. Sadly. My cousin and his wife chose my sister and I for flower girls, so we were a part of the wedding, and due to that, we didn't arrive with our parents. We didn't see much of them at all before the wedding because we had to get our hair done along with the rest of the party. At the church, my sister and I were standing outside the chapel talking with my cousin when I saw him make a face. My stepmother, father, and stepbrother had just walked in the door, and my stepmother was wearing white. Now, my cousin's wife had been a part of the family for long enough to know about my stepmother's antics, and if it wasn't for the fact that she was getting ready for her wedding, she would have thrown my stepmother out then and there. Hey girl, throw her out.
Might as well.
Throw her out anyway. You're
Just
gonna
like-
have to throw her out.
Just like the mat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeet it.
My cousin didn't want to cause any trouble on the big day, so he let it slide. But I know my dad caught the look that he gave him. The wedding goes, yeah, wait, hold on, pause, because how are you as the husband? How are you as the dad? Or anyone? How are you as anyone? Check your partner, dude.
Yeah.
Check your partner. What are you doing? You know you're going to a wedding. How are you letting her wear white? What are we doing? Are you the doormat? You're the doormat that she walks all over as well?
Ooh. Burn.
The wedding goes fine. And before the reception, we were all taking photos. Everyone knew at this point about my stepmother's attire, as she was standing at the doors of the chapel smirking during photos that she attempted to butt into, but wasn't considered a part of the immediate family or the wedding party, so she was not included. And if the looks that everyone gave her could unalive, she certainly would be. My grandmother had dressed her best that day, despite her illness, and she hung onto my cousin's arm during the photo before I heard her mumble, "I'll be danged if she wears white to another wedding with that grin on her face." Again, my grandmother was tough.
Dang.
But
she's like, I'll handle this myself. She probably would have took her out.
how is no one checking this person though? Like,
Yeah.
for real. Like, for real. Like, how, if I'm there and I'm like a friend of anyone getting married, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, do you want me to go take care of this? I'll take care of it right now. You want me to go take care of this? Like, do you need me to take care of this?
I got you. You gotta
And-
worry about a thing.
I'd do it with a big old glass of red wine. And I'd say, oops. I wouldn't even hide it. I'd go, oops. Oh, that's ruined now, isn't it? Go ahead and send me the bill and be on your way.
There we go.
That's what I would do.
Gotta go change because your dress is not white anymore.
Right. This is anticlimactic, but no fights broke out. No one yelled at anyone. And the only thing that did happen is that my cousin had a long talk with my father about his wife and how this was a family event. And she knew that what she wore was extremely frowned upon. She did try to butt into every conversation during the reception, and her son acted like a total wienerhead the whole time. But that was expected. Her actions, though, spoke loudly about her character, as we all knew that my grandmother wasn't doing well. My sister and I were still super young, so we knew that she wasn't going to be seeing her other two grandchildren get married. She knew that this was going to be one of the last few times the family got together in celebration of something, and my stepmother had to step all over it and draw attention to herself. My grandmother passed away that November. The wedding was in June. When my grandmother went into hospice, my stepmother booed and hooed like she actually cared, but she kept talking about her own mother's battle with cancer, trying to compare the two as if they had some sort of resemblance, but the illness was the only thing comparable. My stepmother thought she had something left for her in the will, but she was definitely wrong about that. She didn't act up at the funeral, but she did during Christmas, which was the toughest holiday for all of the family, as we spent it at my grandmother's house, and it was the first time she wasn't there to be with us.
Dang.
Yeah, the stepmother sounds freaking horrendous.
Oof.
Like, where is, there needs to be an intervention here to be like, divorce her, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around you and her. I don't want to be around her, and if you're always going to be with her, I don't want to be around you.
Oh, absolutely.
My grandmother had picked out specific things relating to her for the 4 grandchildren and my cousins' wives when she went into hospice. My stepbrother didn't get anything from my grandmother that year, and my stepmother threw a fit, storming out of the house and going home, even though the gifts were given were sentimental to the connection we had with our grandmother. It's been 8 years, and she still won't get over the fact my grandmother didn't give him a gift that Christmas. Or maybe it's because she didn't get anything in the will, though she had in the past. She still hangs this over our faces sometimes. Her own father is a very old man now, but ever since my grandmother's passing, she's told my sister and I, your grandmother didn't give me, stepbrother and stepsister, anything when she passed, so my dad won't give you and sister anything. It's only fair. I can't effing stand her. My grandmother must be rolling around in her grave if she's seen half the crap my stepmother has done since then. There's an edit. I had to add a couple things since I fell asleep after posting this, and I've seen a lot of questions. Wearing white to a wedding is a cultural thing. We don't have to explain that. Second off, I'm going to address my father. He has a certain choice in women. Yeah, bad ones. Whoa! Oh! Let's
He has
go.
a bad taste in women.
Let's go! Oh!
Yo.
Okay. My mother would probably fit into another handful of stories, all of its own, as she's very much similar to my stepmother. I did mention that my mother left in this story, and what I mean by that is she walked out suddenly when I was 4. This affected my dad greatly, as he was left with 2 children and didn't know what to do with suddenly being abandoned. He met my stepmother about a year or so later, and after finally getting my mother to court about their divorce, he married my stepmother 6 months after. As I said, she's been in my life for 14 years now. So why hasn't my father left? Simply because he's afraid of being alone after what my mother did to him. I was a hellion to my stepmother when I was younger for good reasons, and he looked at me one day and asked me if I wanted him to be alone. That's pathetic, dude. First of all, you wouldn't be alone. You'd have 2 daughters.
Yep.
You ever thought about that?
I don't think you did the math there.
Second of all, yeah, I would prefer you to be alone instead of with this nightmare of a woman
I mean,
every time.
is it that good, dude? Are you getting it that good?
Is it that good?
All right.
Is it that good?
Wow, it is home wrecking good.
It's good enough to ruin your entire family?
That's crazy.
Crazy. He realized in the past 2 years that she's shoving his daughters away from him. I walked out after her and I got into a fight and she threatened to call the cops on me because I shoved her when I didn't. And my father knows I didn't because I was standing right there. My sister is turning 18 in a couple months, so she's planning on leaving herself. Where she goes hasn't been decided yet, but she's talked about moving in with my boyfriend and I over an hour away. I moved that far to have an excuse to not be around often.
Nice.
And by the way, you don't have any excuse not to listen to full episodes with stories like these. Because all you need to do is go to iHeartRadio or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime, and then you can have every single story under the sun that we've ever told available at your fingertips.
Boom.
And you can listen to them all. So go ahead and do that.
Go ahead.
There's a little bit of story left. Do we have anything to say?
Dude,
I think we all know where we're at.
I just feel bad that the dad did nothing.
I get being tolerant, right? But if you show up to the wedding in white, I'm not going to tolerate you. You're not being tolerated. Like, I know what you're doing, and I'm not going to tolerate your little behavior. This is not going to be tolerated.
Yeah.
We're not tolerating.
Just snip it, cut it out.
All right, let's finish this story. I said in another comment that my sister and I are making bets on when they'll divorce after she leaves. My stepmother has drained my father over the years, money-wise and health-wise. He busts his butt working 60 hours a week and volunteers to work on Saturdays just to be away from her. So why doesn't he leave?
Yo, that's wild.
The only reason he tolerates her on Sundays is because she's recently decided to start getting wasted on those days. He looks 20 years older than he actually is now, and it's rough to look at. Some of you have said my dad seems spineless, and in a way, he is. I'm not upset with her being around so long, though, because I know he has his reasons and fears, and it's effed up, but those same fears have been instilled on me from a young age, from him and from what my mom did to us. Thank you for reading my story. I appreciate it. And that is the end of that story.
My mother-in-law keeps starting pointless arguments, so we blocked her.
Blocked.
I had started making this post late last night and ended up losing everything I wrote, so please bear with me. It might be a long one. I should also add this is my first ever post on Reddit. I apologize for the lack of paragraph breaks. These are the names I have picked for the few names I will be using in my story. Karen, stepmother-in-law. Rob, father-in-law. Pickles, my now husband. I'm calling him husband. By the way, this comes from my mom is not a watermelon. There's no N, so a watermelon. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I met the love of my life, Pickles, around 5 years ago while working as a cashier. He was picking up his sister, who was one of my work friends. I know it sounds corny, but it was love at first sight for the both of us. We both said hi. And he would come into the store many times after that just to talk to me. We never exchanged phone numbers since I was on the clock and he didn't want to scare me off, so we would always talk and then leave things at that. That is, until I found out we had the same mutual friend. This friend had a private story on Snapchat that all his friends could view and post on, so I decided to post and congratulate him on his graduation. Within 10 minutes of posting, I got a friend request. Since his name is semi-popular in my mind, I was saying, please let this be the right guy. Then I added him back. Within a few seconds, he sent me a snap, and it was indeed the man I was looking for. We started talking, and after the first few hours of texting back and forth, he asked me if he could take me somewhere. I excitedly agreed. We went out to climb on top of a building that everyone in my town calls the Bowl, to stargaze and talk about our lives, then ended the night sharing our first kiss. I had met his family prior when I dropped his sister off at home after her shift, since we both got off at the same time. And it wasn't too far out of my way home. She invited me in, and I met Rob, her 4 siblings, her grandma, 3 dogs, including Duke, 1 cat, my husband's, and of course, Karen. Now, please don't judge me for this, but when I met Karen, I thought she was Rob's attracted to the same gender sister. I say this because she had a blonde pixie haircut with faded blue, pink, and purple hair dye and was wearing a rainbow tie-dye t-shirt. I was honestly shocked when they told me they were married. She was extremely nice at first, but after a while, her mask started lifting and she showed her true colors. I just want to put this out here that Rob is an absolute angel, and I don't know how he puts up with Karen. After about a year of dating Pickles, I had some family issues, and it ended up coming up in a conversation with the family. Rob and Karen both told me to come live with them and to move my stuff into their home since they understood what those specific family issues were like. After them constantly telling me things would be better if I just moved in, I eventually did, but not without showing my appreciation by cooking, cleaning, and helping out financially. It wasn't long before Karen started yelling, berating, and belittling the kids in front of me. She always had a minimum 2 things to complain and get angry about in a day, whether it be someone leaving a toothbrush on the sink in the bathroom or a towel falling off the rack. But I continued to live there, thinking maybe she was just having a bad week or it just wasn't a good month.
She's just having a bad quarter.
Yeah,
She's just
it'll
having a
get
bad
better.
half a year.
She's just having a bad decade.
Oh, it's just been a bad millennium.
About a year later, Pickles popped the big question in front of all his family at their get-together on Christmas Eve. They were all in on it. Not even 5 minutes later, after I told him I would marry him, Karen opened her big mouth and said, "When are we having the wedding? What theme are we thinking? Ooh, we should do this. We should do that. Blah, blah, blah." I had no idea he was going to propose to me 5 minutes prior, and now we need to start planning immediately? Calm down. We did end up sitting down and planning the wedding, setting our wedding date for September of 2023. Karen then asked me if she could plan the wedding and said both she and Rob wanted to pay for it. I asked her multiple times if she was sure, and she assured me she wanted to do everything and pay for it. Both Pickles and I agree, but only if they were sure. Keep in mind, this was a small, low-budget wedding, especially since we didn't want them to have to pay a crazy amount of money on this. This becomes important later. Some time passed, and Pickles and I decided we wanted to start a family together, but under one condition. We would be out of the house before the baby was born, and he agreed. After we found out I was pregnant, we told the family about 5 days later with painted t-shirts that said, "I'm going to be a mom," mine. "I'm going to be a dad," Pickles. "I'm going to be a grandma," Karen's. And "I'm going to be a grandpa," Rob's. We had Rob and Karen close their eyes while my husband's aunt and uncle put their t-shirts on them as we changed into ours. Once everyone had their t-shirts on, we had them turn around and open their eyes. The first words out of Karen's mouth were, "No wonder you were being such a witch. I knew it." Right after you just found out that she's going to have a child?
You couldn't help yourself for one moment, Karen? Not for 1 second?
Both Pickles and I exchanged "what the F" glances at each other, but didn't say anything until we were somewhere private. He later told me that if anything, I was acting happier than normal and wasn't being witchy in any way, shape, or form. Fast forward about a month or so later, and my morning sickness was absolutely unbearable. Remember how I said they had 3 dogs? Well, unfortunately, I have to bring them into this story. Duke is an extremely sweet but extremely large dog. I freaking knew it. But who wasn't properly house trained due to everyone in the house being out most of the day. The only issue with him was that he wasn't potty trained. That and his chronic diarrhea. Oh no. I was the one who cleaned up after him most of the days before and after my work shifts. When he had to go, he would go. All over the unfinished hardwood floors. Once my morning sickness started punting in, I couldn't clean up his fecal matter without having to take at least 3 trips to the bathroom in between scoops. I couldn't even do that without being pregnant. So I didn't do as much of the cleaning as I used to. One day, Karen started yelling at me, saying that pregnancy wasn't an excuse to be lazy and that I don't do crap around the house. Mind you, I was still cooking and cleaning the exact same way as before: bathrooms, kitchens, rooms, dishes piled up in the sink. The only thing that changed was cleaning up dog poop, and even then, I still cleaned it up most of the time. They have 3 dogs. When one takes a big old dookie, all of them take big old dookies. The worst of it became more frequent during the 1-month wedding countdown. I had found out I was pregnant in July. One of my closest friends bought my dress for me as my wedding gift on Amazon. I picked a $125 black corset back dress and absolutely loved it. We decided to order a size up just in case, since, well, I was pregnant. When I told Karen that I ordered the dress 1 size up just in case, she started screaming, "Only a size? You're going to have a balloon out, and you only ordered 1 size up? What's going to happen when the dress comes and it doesn't fit you because you're too huge? Who would make changes on that dress for you? Who would pay for it? When I was pregnant," blah, 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 blah. And the rant continued. Keep in mind, I wasn't even showing yet at 5 months. Our baby was growing close to my spine, so I could have even hidden the pregnancy if I wanted to. And due to throwing up almost everything I ate, I was losing weight at the same time. The dress arrived a week before the wedding, and I was so relieved. It was beautiful, a little big here and there, but it fit, and I was happy about it. Karen, for once, had nothing to say, probably because my friend had brought the dress to me and was there to watch me put it on. Within the week time frame, Karen would yell, belittle, and berate me daily. I had paid for everything meal-related, and we decided to make walking tacos since they're cheap and absolutely delicious. Karen started screaming at me when I told her how much ground beef I was buying, demanding, "What if that isn't enough? What happens if we run out of food? I'm sure not going to leave the wedding to get it, so you would have to go out to get more. You'd have to leave your own wedding because you're stupid and didn't think about anyone besides yourself." I was planning on getting 3 10-pound tubes of ground beef. I ended up buying an entire case of ground beef. Thank goodness it was on sale. It was $30 a tube when it was normally $60 each. Wow. After getting the beef, utensils, plates, and everything else, I got back to the house. My husband was talking with them about the wedding. Pickle said, "We got the food," to which I responded, "I got the food, since I paid for it with my money." When Karen heard that, she jumped up and snapped, "Was that a jab at my son?" I responded, "It was a joke." "Well, I didn't find it effing funny," she screamed. "It sounds like you made a jab at my son. I protect my son from anything, and I'm going to do everything it takes to protect him from you. I don't even think your marriage is going to last. I give it a year and you'll be done." I was fuming at this point and told her, "I have nothing to prove to you, but every day for the rest of my life, I will prove you wrong." She's going to stay with him forever just to spite you.
Yeah, don't do that. This is the point where you go, "Oh, I don't care. Hi. I don't care about you anymore."
No, this is the point where
All I
the
care
husband
about-
steps in and says, "Mom, don't ever freaking say that to my fiance."
100%. 100%.
Then I left the house, went out to my car, and cried. When I eventually came back inside, there was no apology. Your husband needs to step the freak up, man. The next day, which was the day before the wedding, Karen didn't come home from work until later in the day. The second she walked in, she asked me if I had found a place for daycare. I told her that I had been looking into 3 places already. She responded, "3 places? Only 3 places? I could make 10 phone calls and have 10 places within 15 minutes. Dude, the baby's not even out yet.
Relax.
Oh, and if you can't take care of your child up to my standard, I'll take your baby away.
So that's illegal. That's kidnapping.
The baby will stay with me, and if you want to take a legal approach, I'll call CPS and have your child taken far away from you. At least if I take the baby, you could still see it around the house."
Dude, what's your husband doing?
Yeah, where's your husband, dude?
I ran out to my car, crying in front of Karen for the first thing she had said to me. I sat in the driver's seat and texted my mom, telling her that I loved her. She responded with, "Are you okay?" It was late, it was out of the blue, and things had gotten better between us. Before I knew it, I got a call from my dad and spilled everything that had happened within the 2 years I had been gone. He told me to come home. I told him I couldn't. Yeah, because Opie's been living with these people.
Yeah.
You should go home.
Oh, no.
They had paid for the wedding, and I wanted to marry the love of my life. I told them we could hold off for 1 more day until the wedding.
Where is Pickles?
Pickles is
What is Pickles
is
doing?
letting me down. Pickles is like, you either aren't telling him what's happening, which that's also a problem because you should be telling your partner the things that are making you upset, and also that his parents are threatening to take away your child. That's crazy. Or 2, he knows and he's not doing anything. Yeah.
I was just saying, it's not a cool move to be like, yeah, and if you try to get the law involved, I'm calling CPS and having them take your kid away. And it's like, clearly you don't really care about the kid's well-being at that point.
My parents were at the wedding and my dad walked me down the aisle. Everything was perfect, like a fairy tale, until we went to get our wedding party photos. While we were gone, Karen managed to start a fight with my husband's real mom by yelling at her daughter for apparently sitting at a table that wasn't reserved for you. Mind you, there were no designated seating arrangements. We didn't know about this until after the wedding when a few of our friends texted us about it. I would have lost my crap at Karen if I had known she started drama, especially since we made it clear to her and everyone who received a wedding invitation that we didn't want any drama and that any drama starters would be punted out. I wish I could tell you things started to get better after the wedding, but that's not the case. If it wasn't us, it was always someone else. After we found an apartment, we didn't plan to tell Rob or Karen about moving out until the day we were moving out. I just started packing things into boxes and slowly moving them into my parents' garage since they told me I could keep them there until we got the keys to the apartment. My husband ended up telling them that we were moving out when Karen was talking about getting things ready for the baby in the basement, which was where we were staying. The basement was falling apart. Not to mention, if there was ever a flash flood, water would come pouring in. There were wolf spiders everywhere and critters of all kinds. Upstairs was no better, with nails sticking out of the floorboards from ripping up the carpet. Oh, right, the unfinished floors. Big holes in the wall due to unfinished projects that they had started the summer prior, and dry dog poop in between the unfinished hardwood.
This is horrific. That's a horrific house.
The dogs had gotten worse about pooping on the floors since the 2.5 years I had been living with them. There was no way we were going to stay there with a baby, and the fact that she thought it was okay was delusional. When my husband told them, Karen sneered,
"You two are going to fail on your own, and I'm going to laugh when you come crawling back."
Dude, I would never talk to you again.
She would make comments every now and then about how we weren't going to make it and that it wasn't too late to change our minds. We had already signed the lease on the apartment, so obviously it was too late. I was so happy we would be out of that heckhole of a house. Move-in day came, and within the first 5 minutes, Karen was yelling at Rob, and things started getting heated. Pickles looked at both of them and raised his voice and said, "If you guys are going to yell, do it at your home, not ours. If we get a noise complaint the first day we move in, I'm going to be pissed."
Okay.
Karen was taken aback because he had never talked to her like that in his life, because if he did in her home, she had control.
There we go.
She had absolutely no control in our home.
That's right. Take the control
Take it
back, Pickles.
When everyone finally left, I looked at Pickles and told him that someday Karen was going to start something over stupid reasons again and blow up. And when she does, I know exactly what I'm going to say to her. I will block her, and that will be the end of things. We both hoped she wouldn't because we both honestly cared about her and wanted her to change and get better. But eventually, the day came and she went crazy.
The day of reckoning.
I was 2 months postpartum at this point and honestly didn't need the drama. I had sent her and 12 other people the same video on Facebook talking about how the time when your baby's little goes by way too fast. Eventually, they aren't going to be little anymore, and those tiny fingerprints scattered all over the windows will disappear. It was something showing the importance of enjoying your time with your littles while they're still little, before they grow up. Instead of thinking it was a sweet video, she started going crazy, asking me if I was calling her a bad mother and saying that this video meant I was taking her son away from her. He's a grown adult, not a baby. I apologized to her if it gave her mixed signals and informed her that I had sent the same video to 12 other people. I just thought it was a video worth sharing with them. That didn't shut her up. It got worse. She yelled at me over text and started bringing things up. I countered them with more information, which led to another argument. Eventually, she started running out of things to bring up, so she started getting into extremely personal things just to hurt me. I had a miscarriage a couple of months before the pregnancy I told you all about. She told me she would start sending me videos of people saying it's the woman's fault for having a miscarriage, since according to her, I didn't care enough about her feelings. That was the last straw, and I went off on her. I'm not proud of the language I used, but afterward I felt relieved. I then brought up when she told me she would take my child away from me, and she completely ignored my text. She ran out of excuses, so instead she talked about the wedding, how she planned the wedding, how she paid for the wedding, how she did this for me and that for me. I told her that she had asked to do those things. We had never once asked her to do them. She assured us that it was something that she wanted to do, so we let her. She still wasn't understanding the point and kept ignoring everything I was calling her out for. So eventually I just sat back down and asked myself if she was worth this. If she's talking to me this way, she will eventually talk to my child that way. And I didn't want that to happen, so I told her that she can call me whatever name she would like, and that it didn't matter to me anymore. She was no longer welcome on our property, and we didn't ever want to see her again. She has no right to my child, and I told her that I hoped she would eventually change, and to disrespectfully go F herself, and blocked her. By the way, don't block us, because you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search for Okay Storytime. But there is a little bit left to the story. Any final thoughts?
I think that's something you should do with all the difficult people in your lives. Sometimes you just need a moment to sit down and go, is this worth it? is this worth it? Because the reality is it's not always as simple as just cutting someone off right away.
No.
Sometimes, there's the politics that go into family and work and life, whatever. But you really have to sometimes simmer it and just go, is this what I want? And clearly this person is not worth it, even though she's your mother-in-law. She's terrible. She's a monster. And you and Pickles are better off without her nasty, disgusting, dried dog poop life colliding with yours.
Rob is still in our lives because, as I've said before, he is an absolute angel and did nothing wrong to us. But Karen gets jealous, and if she can't see her baby, he can't either. He still comes over every now and then when she's working or is out of the house, but part of me can't help but feel awful about blocking her. So am I the a-hole? And edit, I added the picture of my wedding dress in the comments. And that is the end of that story.
You're not an a-hole. You just have empathy.
You just have empathy, and I think your husband is not an a-hole per se, but there is a problem there that needs to be addressed.
Pickles needs to stop. Pickles needs to be a whole dill instead of like a sandwich slice pickle. He needs to not be a floppy thin pickle. He needs to be the big pickles that they put in the bag.
Yeah. Also, because he doesn't have the excuse of saying like, oh, well, I couldn't stand up to her because we were living with her and she would have kicked us out or like anything along those lines. They have their own place now. So he needs to stand up.
Regardless, it needs to be like, you can't ever speak to my partner this way.
Yeah.
And if you do this again, you're never going to see me or our child.
Yeah,
ever.
Exactly.
My husband's family keeps excluding my daughter, so I stopped treating them as one.
They don't deserve it.
February 1st, 2025. I, 38 female, and my husband, 50 male, have been married for 10 years and have a 1-year-old daughter together. He has a son, 30 male, and a daughter, 28 female, from a previous marriage. Since my husband and I have been together, I have always bought his children birthday presents, Christmas presents, and gifts and cards for every holiday. By the way, this comes from Miss Delulu Land, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. They have always made snide comments about me being too festive, but my love language is gift giving. Well, they both have children now. His son has 3 children under the age of 5, and his daughter has twin 2-year-old daughters. This past Christmas, his daughter and her husband hosted our family Christmas party. During the gift exchange, each household exchanged the gift that they bought for the other households. For context, his children have never bought Christmas presents for me, which I'm fine with. I have always been the one to purchase the gifts for my stepchildren and my step-grandchildren, while my husband gives the adult kids gift cards. So while the gifts were being passed out, it quickly became apparent that this year they not only didn't buy anything for me, but nothing for my 1-year-old daughter, their half-sister, either. So everyone at the party had gifts to open. My husband, my stepson and his wife, their 3 sons, my stepdaughter, her husband, and twin daughters had all bought for each other, and I had bought for all of them. But not one person bought anything for their baby sister. I gathered my things and my daughter, and we left. Afterwards, I told my husband that I had never been made to feel like part of the family, and that's one thing. But for them to exclude their own half-sister, who is part of their blood, is completely different thing. I told them I will never spend a dime on his family because they are not mine. Also, they decided to do a family photo shoot and didn't include my daughter. So, am I the a-hole? And there are some comments, but what do you think?
I don't think you're the a-hole for like bringing up that concern. I think that like, because I feel like the present thing in concern to the 1-year-old feels it like she's not gonna remember. So I think it's just saying like, hey, I feel excluded, you know?
Right. Yeah, I do think like it's a little petty to just leave right away and to like already make this decision that you're not gonna do this. But I mean, I guess if you've been feeling like this for a while.
But I think that's like the thing. I think that's why I'm saying like it feels more like you are being excluded.
Right.
You
right.
know?
So I get that. But I think, you know, you can always have a conversation first. But I wouldn't call you the a-hole.
No.
Honestly, the one says, your husband never said anything to you, never getting gifts from them? What was your husband's reaction to your child getting no gifts? What was his reaction to what you told him? Your husband is as much of the problem, it seems. OP says, no, my husband never commented on them never getting anything from me. But he did say that he was upset how they treated the baby. But not to them. He hasn't brought it up to his adult children. Yes, he is part of the problem. He has never set boundaries with his children nor advocated for equal respect. Alarming paper 8357 says no more gifts. You tried, but you're done with them. After 10 years, you would think they'd get a clue. Just curious, were you the reason that your husband broke up with his ex-wife? If so, that may be why they're so hostile. And honestly, I'd write them both a letter and explain that you have been handling gifts for your husband's family for 10 years, but will no longer be doing so after the way they treated their half-sister during the holidays. Any gift requests, etc., should be directed towards your husband. And your husband is an a-hole for letting them get away with this BS for 10 years. Let him know that he's on his own from now on for birthdays and holidays. You are done with them. And OP responds, no, he and their mother divorced when his son, 30 male, was 7 and daughter, 28 female, was 5. He and I started dating when they were 16 and 18. So yeah, lots of time had passed.
Yeah.
But we do have an update. So February 16th, 2025, 15 days later. Well, I had a long talk with my husband again after reading all the responses I got. His opinion is that his children have no opinion of our age difference. However, they just don't consider me part of their family, and he doesn't think that they look at our daughter as their sister, which I completely respect because they are entitled to their own opinions as well as their own feelings. With me respecting their feelings comes they're no longer a part of my family. I will act accordingly as just their father's wife. As for my daughter, she is just that, my daughter. Valentine's Day has come and gone, and I did not get a thing for his children or grandchildren. I splurged on my daughter, and it felt really great. I did remind him a week before Valentine's Day that it was coming up and that his grandkids would probably be expecting something. He neither bought anything for his children nor his grandchildren, nor our daughter, and he didn't buy anything for me as well.
This is an issue. Didn't buy anything for you for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, not getting anything for the kids, I honestly understand.
Yeah, I get it.
Like-
It's like Valentine's Day.
Yeah, like part of I'm almost thinking like when they were saying you're too festive, I wonder if that's a very nice way of them trying to say like
you get gifts for every holiday.
yeah, like you get gifts and I feel guilty about not getting you gifts, so I'm gonna put that idea out there that it's just a too festive thing, so
It's like
I'm not
your
expected to
fault.
also give gifts. He made a comment about feeling some type of way of the separation between me and his family, almost as though it was my own decision. And I quickly reminded him that I am just respecting the wishes of his family and that they belong to him and they are nothing to me. In short, this marriage most likely will not last for multiple reasons, not just the issues of this post. Also, I failed to leave out a key detail. He was married to another woman between his children's mother and mine in his marriage. And according to him, that woman treated his children very, very poorly. I don't know her, so I can't speak about her. I only know what he told me, and that story is completely one-sided. He also thinks that that may be the reason why his children treat me the way that they do, due to past traumas from his second wife. That is interesting key detail. That very well could be the reason.
Yeah.
But we do have some relevant comments. Mind Taker says there isn't a world where the father didn't bring a piece of crap home and not give an F about how it affected his family. Not an effing change. Anything else happened. This guy is a D-bag and either wealthy enough to keep scoring women despite his personality or really effing good looking but completely passed away behind the eyes. OP has bad taste in men. OP responds, he isn't wealthy. He and I both make upper middle class incomes. He presents himself as an amazing man in the beginning. Everyone who knows him speaks about what a great guy he is. And I did too. About 2 years into our marriage, I began to see some red flags, and I was already in love, so I ignored them. But now that I have my own child to think about, I cannot ignore them anymore.
For me, this feels like a small thing, but I think for OP, it's like this has been building and building and building
Right.
because she's been mistreated for so long.
Right.
That she's like, oh, wait, this is the start of what they've been doing to me. And maybe it doesn't really matter because it's a 1-year-old. But I
Right.
know I've seen the future because
Yeah.
it's already happened. to me.
Right. Like I could see how this is going to develop even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somehow he hasn't seen it either. Yeah, but now he cares when it's like about his kid
Yeah.
now, not his
Not
wife.
his wife?
Fearless Pen 1420 says he sounds like a self-absorbed person, to be honest. OP responds, I've often thought the same. I saw a bit of the same behavior in one of his children at first, and then realized that the behavior had derived from my husband. but I'm not a psychiatrist, so it's just an opinion. But we have another update.
Ooh-wee.
All right.
Zooey mama. Let's dive in.
February 19th, 2025, 3 days after the first update. So, I Facebook Messenger called his second ex-wife last night. I wasn't sure if she would even want to talk to me since I'm the new wife, but she did, and we had a pleasant conversation. She disclosed that she and his son, adolescent at the time, never had any issues. But his daughter, also an adolescent at the time, was a bit difficult. Think princess mentality. She told me stories where my husband had blatantly disregarded her feelings when it came to his daughter treating her poorly. She said that his daughter always made it clear that she was the queen of her daddy's castle. She eventually separated herself from interacting with the kids, which took a toll on their marriage. She also disclosed that she had found out that in the beginning of his and my relationship that he was spicy sleeping with his supervisor.
Wait. Her husband?
The husband.
Her husband?
The husband cheated on the second wife.
Oy.
Whoa.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad.
This led me to confront my husband, and after hours of denial, he finally admitted. For context, last summer, I caught him spicy texting his supervisor, and I told him to leave, but we had a new baby.
Ooh.
We started going to marriage counseling for the infidelity, and he swore that he disclosed everything to me. But he never told me that they had previously been spicily involved, even during the first few months of our relationship. Now I'm supposed to believe that after 9 years, just out of the blue, they started spicy texting at random, but nothing has continued to go on between them all this time that we've been married. Yeah, that would be very hard to believe. But you know what's very easy to believe?
What?
Is the fact that we've got more full episodes with stories just like this one on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio.
I don't believe it.
Just search OK Storytime. You'll see.
Crazy.
You'll see. But, oh, wow. Big development.
Wowie.
Oh,
So
man.
man's a cheater.
Yeah.
Man's a
cheater.
bona fide cheater.
Pumpkin eater.
Eating those pumpkins.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah.
Pay attention to red flags.
Yeah.
You know?
They're important.
Yeah. When you notice your partner is behaving not great
Yeah.
in other aspects of your life, they might also have already not behaved, that loyally in other areas. Well, he clearly does not care about you to the same extent that, he doesn't care about this relationship or your family.
Yeah, man.
Anywhere near as much as you care.
Yeah. Definitely not. And that is so, so disappointing.
Yes.
My goodness. But there is a little bit more to this story. Needless to say, I contacted a divorce attorney this morning. I'll keep you guys updated on the progress if my attorney feels like it will not have an impact on my case. We do have some relevant comments. Lyndon Lil Blue Balls says, maybe the kids just knew their dad would eventually F this marriage up too, so they didn't want to get too invested. Nah, they were raised by a self-absorbed person and became the same as the dad. Linavi says, I can't really blame the kids for not seeing the 1-year-old as their sister, given the age gap there. They were already living on their own with their own families and kids by the time the sister was born. And that's it. That's all we got.
Which I kind of agree with that comment, but I think for OP, it was just this kind of culmination of years of mistreatment towards her.
Yeah, and I can understand that it felt very unfair when she's like buying gifts for literally everyone. And then, one, they're not getting gifts like for her, too, or at least not everyone is. And then also they're not getting gifts for the 1-year-old. And that can be very disappointing. But wow.
Yeah.
They're getting divorced. That is not where I thought the story was going to go.
Nor did I. I was hoping for any sort of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any sort of good resolution, but,
My father left us for his new wife. Now that she's gone, he wants back in.
You made your bed, now you gotta lie in it, buddy.
My parents divorced while I was still a toddler, and most of my childhood was spent between both parents and my older sister, Trish, and brother, Ron. Until I was a teen, my parents were great co-parents, and we were all close with our dad. Then he met his future wife, Susan.
No, Susan.
Not Susie Q. They had only been dating for a few months when they decided to get married.
Married?
Immediately, things changed.
Uh-oh.
By the way, this comes from user Obemez, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, when my siblings visited, she demanded that we call her Mom.
No.
And she had this deep dislike for Trish. She called her fat, smashed her phone for writing hurtful things about her to her friends, and after checking over her homework, if she saw anything wrong, she would just rip up the paper.
What? Who is this lady?
Is she a dog?
Like, it's like, sorry, my stepmom.
My stepmom chewed up my homework. Literally. When our mom confronted Dad about her, he just made up a stupid excuse about Susan being a strong woman and that Trish could learn from her. After that, Trish just stopped visiting, and Dad told her to grow up. Ron, meanwhile, went through a rough patch after he graduated college and he broke up with his boyfriend. Since he couldn't afford a new place of his own, he moved with Dad for a bit, but left after a few weeks. His entire time there was just Susan telling him that his degree was a joke, that he was pathetic for still living off his parents, and would even mock him for flaming if he got excited over something, telling him he was too flamboyant. So Susie here is just not positive at all.
Being a little as they sing.
Yeah, I feel like Susie doesn't like much.
Yeah.
After he left, he told Dad that he expected an apology and that he did not deserve to be treated like garbage by Susan while his father just watched. He just said that Susan was part of the family now and that he stood by his wife. Ron kindly told him to never speak to him again and went full-blown no contact.
Yeah, if you're going to stand by Susan, then those are the consequences.
You know, Dad, blood is thicker than Susan in this case. So, with me, I never took any of Susan's BS, and if she would say something to me or make a comment, I'd just ignore her and leave the room. This pisses her off since I always assumed she lived off the drama she caused when Trish would cry or Ron would get mad. Instead, she cried to Dad and told him that I hurt her deeply. And
it's like, OP's hurting my feelings because her feelings aren't being hurt when I try to bully her.
I'm trying to bully her and she won't take it.
She doesn't even care.
I'm trying to make her a grown woman.
It makes me sad.
And she hates me for doing that. That I hurt her deeply and that I made her feel unloved in her own home. Dad took her side, and the last time I was at his house involved him screaming at me and calling me an ingrate. All right.
Oh, boy.
We got into a shoving match, and I stormed off and went to a local fast food place until my mom could come get me. After that, the contact we had was pretty much him calling and asking about how things were. He'd even come to my high school graduation or Trish's wedding because him and Susan were saving money. We all came to accept that Dad chose his new wife over us, and while it hurt like heck, we moved on. Finally, just before Thanksgiving, Susan passed away suddenly, and it hit Dad hard. I'm not saying any of you guys did any of that. Like, you guys thankfully, you guys all cut contact because in her message, she would be like, they caused it.
They caused it. She'd be like, your children did this to me.
Since she had little family and they had no friends outside each other, he's pretty much alone now. Trish invited him to dinner with her family a couple of times, but he's a stranger to her kids and her husband hates him because of how he let Susan treat her. Ron was the only blunt one and told Dad that he just can't come back after everything. Right now, I'm just confused and I don't know what to do. The only contact I have with him is through Trish, and she thinks that Dad is still deeply mourning and that he wants his kids back in his life. Since I don't use social media or use the internet much, dirty hippie stuff, my friend is posting this for me so I can get some outside perspectives. I remember how my dad was before he got married, and I miss that side of him, but at the same time, I know he threw us to the curb just for Susan. We have some comments. Comment number 1. I hope you guys understand that he only wants to come back because she passed away, and if she was still alive, he would still be ignoring you all. OP, I know this. When they were together, they were bitter people that pushed everyone away. Susan even had 3 adult kids that hated her, and only one of them came to her funeral. Right now, my brother and I think that we are just his backup. Comment number 2. Did he apologize at all? If he didn't even apologize, I'd be afraid that the same thing is going to happen as soon as he meets a new woman. OP. He didn't apologize in a sense, but he says that he misses us and that he missed out on too much. He didn't even know that my sister had a second kid until recently, and she said that it hit him pretty hard. And we have an update. Let's go right into it.
Let's do it.
Wow. All I can say is thanks for all the advice last time. I guess what I wanted was the father I thought I had, but since I posted this, a lot has happened with my family. 2 days after I made this thread, my sister's oldest kid decided that he wanted to surf down a hill on his sled when his mom was busy with his brother. Something only a 10-year-old would think is smart. He ended up breaking his wrist and his leg badly enough that he needed multiple operations. Oh no. He's doing better now, but Trish is exhausted taking care of him, and on top of it, she's pregnant with her third kid. This has left our dad at the bottom of her concerns, and he has not taken it well. When I spoke with her, she said that he was driving her crazy and kept trying to guilt trip her, saying, "You can't find the time for a widowed old man," and basically being a huge pain in the butt. My brother said that he pretty much accepted that our dad would act like that when he wasn't the center of attention. I guess that being the youngest, I was shielded from his behavior even before he met Susan. Ron said that our dad would call him a fruitcake multiple times as a kid, and that when he did come out to the family, Dad just told him to shut up.
He's like, we follow the military rules. Don't ask, don't tell.
Don't say a word.
It's like, it feels like, honestly, it wasn't really because of just Susan that people went no contact with you.
Yeah.
You guys were a duo.
I should also mention that even though he struggled a bit after college, Ron ended up getting a pretty decent job with a high salary. After Susan and our dad found out, they tried to bill him for the few weeks he lived with them and even threatened to call the cops. He ended up giving them a couple thousand to get them off his back and went full-blown no contact. There were also more incidents I mentioned in the last thread. He offered to watch his brother's kid after his own wife passed away, but backed out at the last second. That brother now refuses to have any contact with him as well. And I also found out that the only reason he agreed to co-parent with our mom was because she told him that if he didn't spend time with us, she would go after him for more child support.
Yikes.
So he's just
Everything we learn about this guy is not good.
It's just L after L after L. Yeah, he's not giving me any reason to be like, yeah, you know what? You know when we were doing this?
Yeah.
We should do this. Two hands.
Yeah, two hands.
2 hands. You're like, maybe not. I was beyond disgusted. After talking with my girlfriend, and she read some of the replies in the thread, she suggested that maybe he and I should go out for lunch and just see how it goes. Since we will only be in town for another month before we go off-grid until the fall, I agreed. I knew I would regret it if I didn't go, and it was eating me up inside. It was the most awkward moment of my life. I met him at a diner he chose, and I was pretty shocked to see how much he changed. He gained a lot of weight since the last time I saw him, 100+ pounds.
Dang.
And he looks decades older than his real age. Plus, he kept making comments about the way my girlfriend's dreadlocks looked. To him, he said they looked dirty, and made a rude joke about me looking like Charles Manson when I showed him our pre-engagement pictures.
L after L.
L after L,
So many L's, my guy. So many L's.
Finally, after he was done complaining, I asked how he was doing. He just said, "How do you think?" He just listed off how his wife passed away, his kids won't give him the time of day, he is up to his eyes in debt. He even complained about the poor service in the diner.
This is a man who has caused all of his misery in life and is just so incapable of seeing that. That he puts it on everyone else around him. It's so frustrating having a relationship with these type of people.
This is the
Who
type
just
of,
like cannot see past their own nose.
you put out negativity, it's going to come back to you, and there it is. But you know what? There is every single day, Sophia.
What?
Stories just like this.
So true.
You can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's a little bit more to this story. But Sophia, is there anything else we would do here? Dad is not having a single W.
No, you gave him a chance. You had a conversation with him. It seems like he still kind of sucks as a person.
You blew every chance you got, man.
Yeah. So it's like you did give him a second chance. You had the conversation. It's not like you're cutting him off with no chances.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, but
yeah, of course. But he made his own.
This is your fault.
Yeah.
If you were a bit more positive or a bit more open,
just a better person,
who knows? Just
wouldn't have happened.
Let's go ahead and finish the story. After lunch, he offered me a ride back to my place and offered to put my bicycle in the back of his truck too. The only kind thing he said. I turned him down and told him to take care of himself. I just don't think I can have any sort of relationship with him after all. I talked with my girlfriend all night, and she said that maybe I turned Susan into a scapegoat for my dad's rotten behavior, and that I didn't want to accept the type of man he really was.
That's actually an excellent point. Because Susan might have been awful, but like, I think a lot of it was like,
she probably just enabled it. Yeah.
Susan was doing all of this stuff, and he never said anything. Like, he was doing probably the same stuff.
He's probably doing the same stuff. It's just Susan supported it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, he wasn't enabling anything. He was participating.
Yeah. Right now, I'm focusing on the positive things in my life. My nephew is recovering well with the third one due in the summertime. Oh, that's right, because Trish is pregnant with a third. Congrats. My brother is getting married this June, and my girlfriend and I are planning to get engaged shortly afterwards. My dad's rejection still hurts like heck, but I plan on working past it. And that is the end of that story.
My stepmother demands an apology from my wife, but I won't allow it.
Not today.
No apology needed because I don't want it. I, 32 male, have been married to my wife, Vivian, 29 female, for 6 years. We have 3 kids. I have several siblings, but this instance revolves around my half-brother, Trevor, 18, who lives out of state. Trevor came to visit over a spring break. My stepmom has never liked Trevor, mostly because she doesn't like his mother. By the way, this comes from other transition 437. If you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, about 3 days into Trevor's visit, my stepmom kept making snarky comments about him, his mom, his family, school, his tattoo, etc. Trevor got tired of this and grabbed his car keys and said he was leaving. This was around 11 p.m. My stepmom laughs and says he doesn't have enough gas to get home or money to get more.
Dang.
Get wrecked, Trevor. Trevor said that he didn't need enough gas or money to get home. He just needed enough gas to get to my house.
Oh.
My stepmom laughs again and says, I'm not even home. I'm at work, which was true. I work nights. And that Vivian, my wife, would never let him stay there. Trevor says, I guess we'll see. We got a little standoff here.
Yep.
Because he knew Vivian wouldn't tell him no and leaves. My stepmother then calls my wife and tells her that Trevor is on his way to our house and under no circumstances is Vivian to allow him to stay with us. Vivian says she's not going to turn him away, especially not in the middle of the night, and that everyone can all talk about it tomorrow. She'll let me know to call my dad when I get a chance to figure out what's going on. My stepmom begins to get angry and says that Trevor is not Vivian's child and is allowed to do whatever he wants, and Vivian needs to respect her as the mother of the family and that she can make life in the family difficult for Vivian if she needs to, for Vivian to understand her place. That is a threat.
Dude, and also real quick, I heard this, I heard a quote recently. I think it was on one of our own videos. They were like, if someone marries your dad in adulthood, that's not your stepmom. That is your husband's wife.
Ooh.
You're not telling me how you're going to make my life.
You are not mom.
I'm a big boy.
I'm a man.
Yeah.
And that Vivian has no right to let people into my name's home without my knowledge. There were other things said as well, and eventually Vivian loses her patience and ends the call by saying that my mom is just mad that she can't be a F-bomb bully to Trevor anymore because he found a loophole. My stepmother calls me while I'm at work and tells me Vivian was rude to her. At this point, I have no idea that anything has happened. She then calls my dad, he works nights as well, and tells some version of events. My dad calls me and tells me that Vivian was disrespectful and had no right to speak to her that way and needs to apologize for her behavior. I get a call about 5 minutes later from Vivian. She tells me that Trevor is at our house and they tell me everything that happened since Vivian wasn't at the house and Trevor wasn't there yet for a call. I call my dad and tell him that it doesn't sound like Vivian did anything except stand up for herself. And my dad insists that Vivian needs to apologize. Why does Vivian need to apologize? Last I heard, your stepmom was being mean to Trevor. Trevor leaves. Trevor goes and stays at Vivian. Vivian can let whoever she wants into the house.
Big girl.
Trevor's 18.
Yeah.
Trevor is legally a man.
That's true.
Non-legally a boy, but legally a man.
Yes.
I don't want to say non-legally a boy. There are men that have fought and gone to war at 18.
That's true.
And have become more men than us podcast chair boys could ever be.
Hey, we're on the front lines of content.
That is true. We are. We are. You
We
know
really
what?
are.
Yeah, we are.
We are.
World War II vets have nothing on the podcast vets that we are. We have gone through the trenches.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I tell him if anybody is owed an apology, it's Vivian. Truth.
Big facts.
This was all 3 days ago. I'm getting texts from family members about Vivian needing to apologize and that Vivian doesn't have the right to get involved with family squabbles. And she shouldn't have let Trevor run away from the consequences of his actions. No one can tell me what the actions were. And if Vivian doesn't apologize, then she's not welcome around anymore.
So whack.
Whack. These roles should be Freaky Friday.
Yup.
Yeah, Hannah says podcast soldiers. Yes, ma'am. I don't think she owes an apology, but I had a bad relationship with my family for years when I was younger, and since it's improved drastically, I've been a lot happier having them in life. and I don't want to lose them like that. But I also can't just allow someone to disrespect my wife so blatantly and expect an apology for it. But Vivian at this point is starting to feel bad, and she always stresses too much over absolutely anything she thinks she might have done to upset someone. So this really sent her on a series of mental gymnastics.
Aww.
And she says she doesn't want to be the reason I have a bad relationship with my family yet again. Vivian is a goat.
That's true. She's worried about everyone, but you know what? She deserves to be worried about herself, man.
Yeah. She's literally thrown her body on the front lines.
Ain't it true?
Much like our World War II vets and our podcast veterans.
Yep.
All equally risking it all.
Yeah.
You know, it's beautiful to see. Hopefully we all can be an inspiration.
Yeah.
I've remained firm. Yeah, you have. That she doesn't owe them anything. But am I the a-hole for not having her do it just to get over with? There are some relevant comments and an update. But do you think OP's the a-hole, not the a-hole? Tell me what you believe in your heart of hearts.
I don't think OP's the a-hole. I definitely don't think Vivian is the a-hole. Vivian is the angel, if anything. And I don't, but to answer OP's question, I don't think that he should go to Vivian and say, hey, just apologize, because we are enabling the family and stepmom to be able to pressure her. And two, something we always say is like, your family, your problem, right? So OP is the one. This is OP's stepmom. This is OP's dad.
Yeah,
OP's
this is
family.
OP's cross to bear.
That is your burden to bear. So you got to go to the family and be like, listen, you can't treat my wife that way.
My wife.
My wife.
Drawing a hard line, and you should apologize.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Love you, but
exactly.
it is what it is.
OP needs to get out of the trenches, storm the battlefield of
really
this.
milking this.
We got some relevant comments. We got an update.
Oh.
Comment 1 says, not the a-hole. Your wife is a good person for supporting your brother, whilst your stepmother is a manipulative and cruel woman and your dad is supporting her behavior. I think it's time to cut off both of them and let your brother know that you'll always have his back. I don't know about cut it off, but I think a little bit of a distance for sure. Yeah, draw a line. Opie says he definitely knows we will. The last 3 visits he's made, he stayed with us to avoid her. He just didn't this time because it was also the kids' spring break, and V had a lot of things planned for them to go do. Now she's been taking him with them. And commenter 2 says, you're all adults. Him too.
Big facts.
Your stepmother went on a bowling rampage, then full bat crap power tripping. She isn't your mother, nor your wife's mother, not even your brother's mother. So where the heck is she claiming the title? She's the stepmom. And even if she was, you are all adults. She can't make any of you do nothing. She has no authority on who enters you and your wife's home. No more than where and what your adult brother chooses to be or do. No, she can't do as she wants. No, she doesn't get to decide what other adults do with their lives.
Yep.
No, she can't force others to follow her orders to bully. No, she doesn't get to do whatever the duck she wants or conduct herself in such a horrific extent without consequences. What is really concerning is how fast she started to be menacing towards you and her wife. Yeah, she threatened quick.
Yeah.
How sure she was to not get anyone opposing her, certain of being able to force others into her insane demands. Your wife has nothing to apologize for. She deserves some for the insanity she had to put up with. Your stepmother wants to cause pain and control others. She reached a quite dangerous level of having lost touch with reality. She sounds actually seriously dangerous. And Opie responds. She has a daughter of her own from a previous marriage, and she and my dad have my youngest brother together also. They've been married for a long time, so I'm assuming that's where she came up with that line. And a comment 3 says, not the a-hole. Stepmom sounds like she's on a power trip. Can you tell your dad everything Vivian said / threatened, that her dislike of Trevor is also putting a wedge between you and your dad too? You're right to stand up for your wife. And T, I'm sorry, everyone else isn't reasonable. And OP responds, I am planning to speak to my dad one last time about the situation tonight. I told him the conversation that happened, but I have no idea what my stepmother told him happened on the call. So, updates. April 1st, 2024, the next day.
Oh, April Fools.
April Fools. Let's see who's the fool. First of all, thank you for your advice and the kind words for / about Vivian. I spoke to my dad last night, and I wish I could say it went well.
Oh, brother.
But I think absolutely no one expected it to. He put me on speaker, and my stepmother was in the room with him. I said that Vivian will not be apologizing. and that she is an adult who can make her own decisions about having a guest in our home. I don't control her decision making. My stepmom cut in with, "You're controlling her now by deciding for her. She can't make things right." To which I responded, "You might be right about that, but in this instance, it's a risk I'm willing to take. She doesn't have anything to apologize for. I said I'm not going to allow you to continue to cause her or myself unnecessary stress. I also told them they can't seriously expect an apology after the way they acted, and if they did, they were borderline insane. Throw it down.
Let them know."
Irving back to James.
You can't bully and belittle someone repeatedly and expect them to be okay with it forever, and you cannot threaten an adult and expect it to just go over nicely. I told them that if they were so willing to act like children and cut Vivian, and by extension me and our children, out of the family, then we would save them the hassle and do it ourselves. I told them we would be blocking their numbers along with everyone else. They tried to argue more, but I simply hung up, which might have been immature, but I was just done. I blocked everyone's numbers. About an hour later, I get a Facebook message from my stepsister. I rarely use Facebook, so I forgot I had her as a friend on there. My stepsister is the only sibling who isn't my dad's and is the only one of my stepmoms. She and Vivian have always been really close. She hasn't been involved in the situation at all, so I took the chance, called her. She asked me if everything her mom had told her was true, and I said, most likely not. But this is what happened, and explained it all to her. She then told me several instances where her mom had been similar to her and her fiance. She said she had wanted to cut ties a long time ago, but didn't want to be the only one in the family who is on the outs. And she doesn't have a dad, so no other family to turn to. She asked if I had really blocked them and planned to keep it that way, and I said yes, and so did Vivian Trevor. She said she'd call me back and hung up. By the way, you should never hang up on stories just like this, because you can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime for full episodes, 50 plus days, straight days of full episodes.
That's right.
There's another relevant update, but let's discuss.
Let's talk.
What do you think about using this crazy stepmother's daughter as a weigh-in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is, good to hear her out because like OP said, it's like, hey, she was good friends with his wife, Vivian, and, she wasn't involved in the mix. She was completely on the outside. I think it's totally fair, like, pick up the call, answer, get to hear her perspective. Not that, would necessarily change the stance with stepmom and everyone.
But maybe it helps you understand to the point where you can do something.
Yeah, and also, just really quick, we never learned what Trevor did. The stepmom would not reveal what he did, which
probably
leads me,
it was nothing.
Yes, it leads me to believe that it was absolutely nothing, and she knew that. If people knew that's why she was kicking him out, then they'd be like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" I do think I will say my guess is that this is one in a long line of crazy things that the stepmom has done. If that's true, there could have been maybe more of a timeout, and just see how things go. But it kind of feels like there's a lot more stuff that she's done in the past.
Does she not seem like someone reasonable that you can maybe get through the stuff through communication?
Yeah.
Well, about 20 minutes later, I get a call from her saying that she had called my stepmom. Her mom had cut the cord with them as well and blocked their numbers too, as did fiance. So while I might have lost a decent amount of my family members, I did actually get to keep the best two out of the bunch. Plus, obviously, my wife and kids. Thank you to everyone for advice. We got a few comments and a response from OP. Comment 1 said, great resolution, the only rational way to deal with insane people. And comment 2, not the a-hole. Your stepmother is unhinged. She has no business telling your wife what to do with her home. What's with that BS that Vivian can't let people in the house without your permission? Why is your father not defending his son with your stepmother's rude comments? And that is where this story and episode ends.
My husband's ex-stepmother stole his inheritance, so we cut her off.
Cut her off.
I say former stepmother-in-law because her outrageous and horrible behavior made her passed away to us. And at present time, I have no idea how or where she is. Also, sadly, my husband, we'll call him Jay, also passed away at a much too young of an age.
Oh, wow.
Very sorry. And he passed away about a year and a half ago. But I am blessed that we had more than 25 wonderful years together, and I also have our 2 beautiful children who both look a lot like him. By the way, this comes from Mother of Peacocks, and if you want to submit your own stories, send them to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, to preface, Jay lost his birth mom to a tragic car accident when he was only 7 years old. His dad, whom my husband idolized, was absolutely devastated, but did his best to raise his 2 young children, Jay and his older sister, on his own. His dad's job eventually relocated them to another state, California, to be precise.
Welcome, welcome.
The state of us, our state.
Oh, yeah.
Several years later, his dad met the lady who would become his wife and Jay's stepmom. We'll call her Looney.
I like
All
these
right,
nicknames.
Here we go. When Jay was a freshman in high school, Looney got pregnant and brought Jay's half-sister, we'll call her Lunette, into the world. This becomes very important later. Flash forward many years, Jay and I meet, fall in love, move in together. A few years later, he proposes to me on my birthday, making it the best birthday of my life.
Wow.
My entire family was present for the proposal, but his parents and Lunette had moved to Texas after Jay graduated high school. We had visited them a few times, so I did know them. That evening, we called his parents to announce our engagement. After we shared our joyous news, his dad told us that they were literally just about to call us to share their own news. He had been diagnosed with stage 4 liver.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's the bad. Yeah, this was a definitely good news, bad news kind of thing.
Yeah.
And,
I want to say I'm glad that the good news came first,
yeah,
but it's just a hard situation anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was surreal. At that time, they just found out about So did not have a prognosis or even a treatment plan from his doctors. So we did not know if we had a time limit or not, as terrible as that sounds. Jay's dad told us to move forward with our wedding plans. He would not let get in his way of being there. A couple of months later, we went and visited them, and his dad's outlook was pretty good. He appeared to be doing well and was responding well to chemotherapy.
Good.
But being pragmatic, his dad also planned for the worst and had updated his will. Mind you, he had a very good job with a major company and had invested very wisely. So with investments and his insurance policy, he had more than $3 million in assets. Whoa.
Woo-hoo!
All right.
Good for you, man.
During the visit, Jay and his dad talked privately about the changes to his will in detail. Due to various tax laws in our respective states, his dad had carefully structured the various payouts to have the least impact from taxes as possible. Also very smart.
Yeah.
Suffice it to say that the plan was for Jay and his older sister to each receive around $600,000 to be paid out in annuities of $30K a year, and the rest would be going to Looney and Lunette, with various contingencies being placed on the money for Lunette until she was 18. She was 13 at this time. It's important to note that Looney did not know about this conversation. Sadly, Jay's dad took a serious turn for the worse a couple of months after our visit, and we were suddenly being told that we needed to come visit as soon as possible and prepare to say our goodbyes.
Wow, that's hard.
We immediately flew out, and within days, his dad had passed. The funeral took place back east, where Jay's dad's family was, and this was the first real evidence of Looney's craziness, aka the name
Started
Looney.
to earn that.
Daffy Duck comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay and I could not attend, but found out much later from other family members what a debacle Looney made of it and the spectacle she made of herself. In less than a month since Jay's dad had passed, Looney had quit her job and gone on an insane spending spree, buying a brand new house, a new convertible Camaro, new wardrobes for herself and for Lunette, and was apparently flashing cash and madly throwing money around during her visit back east for the funeral.
Wow. Bad habits.
Yeah, maybe, losing a loved one does make you do crazy things.
Yeah.
It does make your brain process things a lot at once. I get it, but this is not the way to process that.
Yeah, retail therapy is definitely not as good as actual therapy.
Exactly. She made a mockery of the memorial service where, instead of respectfully spreading the ashes at the lake where Jay and his dad grew up, she skipped around the adjacent golf course, carelessly tossing the ashes around while the rest of the family looked on in horror.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think losing Jay's dad or losing her husband did make her go a little loony in
Sounds
this case.
like it.
Looney has been named as an executor of the will and of the first $30,000 annuity that Jay and his older sister were supposed to receive. They each only got $10,000 each. When asked, she claimed that it was what the will said. Jay initially gave her the benefit of the doubt that she would make good on the rest before the year was out and use the money to buy a new motorcycle that he had been wanting. Note, that we had only one car at this time. By this time, our wedding date had been set for about 6 months later, and plans had been well underway, taking up majority of Jay's and my own spare time. We eventually heard about the funeral and spending spree, and after Jay's brand new motorcycle was vandalized, it subsequently totaled, he exploded at Looney, telling her that he knew the truth of the will and that she owed him the remaining $20,000, or she and Lunette were not welcome to come to the wedding, let alone be a part of it. It was pretty much radio silence from them after that. Until the wedding, 2 days before the wedding, Looney and Lunette showed up at our apartment, Looney driving her new convertible Camaro, along with a driver that she paid to transport the new Camaro that she said she bought for Jay as a wedding gift. Jay was shocked, but grateful. Thankfully, the wedding was incredible and everything we had hoped it would be, with one minor instance. Looney, a recovering heavy drinker, got stinking wasted at the reception, making a big scene. Started blubbering about how Jay's dad should have been there and had to be escorted out and driven to her hotel. I need to point out that no one had ever seen her shed a tear about Jay's dad at the funeral or otherwise. Our interactions with Looney and Lunette were cordial, but minimal after that, until Jay asked Looney for some of his belongings that had been packed and moved with her and his dad when they moved to Texas, as well as some of his dad's things that he valued and hoped to keep. There were a couple of very specific boxes that contained Jay's high school memorabilia and other keepsakes and albums. But Jay had been in and out of apartments, so he asked his parents to hang on to them until there was more time and he was more stable. Looney told him that she didn't know where his boxes were and that she would look into it, as well as his dad's items. We didn't hear a peep from either Looney or Lunette for the next 3 years. Jay and his older sister never saw another annuity. We had since moved from our apartment into a house with our new baby boy, congratulations, who was about 10 months old when Jay went to leave work to pick up our son from daycare, only to find his car was missing. His car had our only car seat in it, and he panicked. He called the police, and long story short, found out that Looney had hired someone to repo it, or repossess it. Unfortunately, to avoid having to have his supercharged Camaro altered for California emissions, Jay had never transferred the title from Looney to himself. So on paper, the car still belonged to Looney.
You can't trust a word out of this woman's mouth.
Also, I would try and find a copy of that will. Oh, because she's an executor of the will, so she may have changed it.
How's that allowed?
I don't know.
Change the will.
I don't know. I don't
Dude.
know.
Yeah.
He should have had a copy of the will when he knew his dad was passing. That's one of the things I hate about wills. It sucks. The police managed to get her on the phone. She wouldn't answer Jay's calls. And over her insane shrieking that it was her car and she had the right to take it back, they calmly explained that while that may not be the case, the property inside it did not belong to her, and she had 12 hours to return our property, or we would press charges. I managed to borrow a car seat from a coworker and picked up Jay and our son. When we arrived home, we found our car seat and all our other belongings sitting in the driveway, with signs that someone had attempted to enter the house. Doing the math, we realized that Lunette was now 16. Later that year, we found out from Jay's older sister that Looney and Lunette had squandered all $3 million, including the $750,000 that had been put into our trust for Lunette until she turned 18.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
What are we doing here? What are we doing here, Looney? Looney did in fact take the Camaro back because she had no money left to buy Lunette a car, and she felt entitled to and justified in taking Jay's. We also found out that Looney had pawned the items that Jay had wanted that belonged to his dad and had burned Jay's keepsakes in retribution.
Burned them?
His high school things, like, that he was looking for. He's like, hey,
dude,
if someone doesn't tell you, when you ask him something really nice, like, hey, some of my boxes are still at home.
Yeah.
If they don't respond in like a month, that's one thing. If they don't respond in 3 years about it,
yeah,
I would just go and check.
Right. Just go get them yourself.
Pay them a visit.
Right.
Yeah.
Before they burn
your
into the sky.
That's crazy. In the end, Jay only had a few pictures of his dad and other small things, like his dad's watch that we got from him the last time we visited. Needless to say, we went no contact with them after that, but didn't formally block them from anything. We just ceased contact and never heard anything from them. By the way, you can hear from us by listening to full episodes every day with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you go get your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have a little bit left to this story, but Angie, it seems like we're already going no contact.
Yes.
Which is great, but...
Great idea. I'm very glad that they're going no contact.
I would like to see like the will itself, or... Because that money belongs to you.
Right.
And she can't keep it all to herself. I know
Yeah.
she probably. I don't know the legalities of wills and how it works.
I don't know either.
Unfortunately, I'm not a well-knowledged man on
Yeah,
wills.
Not a lawyer. Haven't dealt with
lawyer.
a will myself personally.
So, yeah, let us know. Like, if you're the executor of the will, does that mean you can literally change everything about the will? I don't know.
Yeah.
But if there was a verbal agreement that, hey, someone said you can do this, I don't know how it works. So let us know in the comments what you can and cannot do. But
Yeah.
Looney is straight off the loony bin right here.
Absolutely. Very well named, this one.
This is the first time I heard like a loony, which is a really good nickname for the
Yeah.
characters here. I don't think Lunette is at fault here. You can't really call her Lunette. I know she's the daughter
Yeah.
of Looney, but Lunette seems like she's just a 16-year-old girl that's just
Right.
like, what do I do?
Yeah, I don't know if she's done anything in
I
all
don't think
of this.
Lunette's done anything wrong.
Yeah.
So it's all on the mom here. but
On Looney Sr.
let's finish the story. Until about 3 years after the Camaro incident, Jay gets a message from Lunette telling him that she's getting married and she wants him to walk her down the aisle. Jay was aghast and proceeded to tell her all the reasons why there was no effing way he would ever deign to honor such a request from her after everything that she and her mom put him/us through. Lunette sends him a vitriolic reply telling him what a horrible person he is and that her mom is right, that he deserved everything he got, then instantly blocked him. But she didn't block me at first. I sent her one final text setting the record straight, and that was the last we ever heard from them.
Whoa,
Whoa.
and that's it?
Whoa, that was it.
I insulted my husband's daughter. I don't regret a thing.
Maybe she freaking deserved it.
Yeah. So I, 47 female, and my husband, 47 male, got married a year ago. Together for 2 years, so it was love at first sight. Some backstory. This is my first marriage. I was always in long-term relationships, but never married and have no children for medical reasons. By the way, this comes from Hot Ad 9873, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. That was until I met my wonderful husband. He has a heart of gold. He has been married twice before. He's a paramedic, and anyone who knows, they sometimes have the worst job in the world, and that can be hard on any relationship. My husband takes his job very seriously. He has a way of switching off when he has a pretty crappy day, but we are working on that. He has 3 children, and he loves them with all his heart. The oldest is 24 female. Let's call her Karen. The middle one is 20 male, Justin, and then another daughter, 13. Let's call her Emily. She is from his second marriage. All the names have been changed. So now you have the dynamics. Let's get into the issue. I have had a great relationship with all the kids. Emily stayed most days with her mom. She would visit holidays and weekends. My husband and Emily's mom really co-parent great together. We even have a good relationship, especially when it comes to Emily. Recently, Emily had to come stay by us due to her mom losing her job and she could not afford her apartment. So she had to downgrade to a single bed place. We have a 3-bedroom house and her mom is not far from us. So it was easy for her to still take Emily to school and Emily could spend more time with her dad. Win-win. Justin stayed with us until recently when he wanted to get out on his own. He has a great job and we helped where we can to get him his own place. I was really sad that he moved out. We get on great. We would have our fights in the beginning. It happens in any family. But in the end, we would apologize and talk it out. Adjusting because Justin and his dad were always together and his dad raised him as a single father. Justin and Kara's mom is not so much in the picture. A lot of things happened there that is not my story to tell. So now on to Karen. We got on really well when she was living with her partner. She is a single mom to a 7-year-old boy, let's call him Oliver, and had a 4-year relationship with a good guy. I would pick Oliver up from his bus stop and then her partner would pick him up after work. If Oliver was sick, I would take care of him when his mom was at work. I even took days off when they were late for the bus and didn't have anyone to look after him because he missed the bus. This happened a couple of times and it was always the partner's fault. So recently they broke up when he could not take it anymore, being told to be a father figure but not having the right to parent him. He was not Oliver's father. Understandable. So in the end, she came to stay with us so that she could save and eventually go on her own. This has been a big mistake.
Uh-oh.
My husband said that she does not have to contribute to utilities or food so she can save. All good. Or so we thought. Her boy has some behavior issues. He still wets the bed. We have been to his school to speak to his teachers and counselors. I have been to his school on my own when he was sent home, so I have come to know his teachers. He even calls me grandma sometimes. He's a really sweet child when he is alone with my husband and myself. With his mom, it's another story. We have tried to discipline him, but we're told that she is his mom and that we don't have the right. Okay, no problem. We won't. I had to take Oliver to the bus stop and her to work, and we were always late because she oversleeps or something comes up. She works and then gets home to help with homework. She's on her phone most of the time while he's doing it, though. When he doesn't do it correctly, she fights with him. She doesn't clean or help at all in the house. She thinks that she has the right to take on Emily when Emily gets a bit annoyed with Oliver. He is hyperactive and has been diagnosed. We understand having a teenage girl and a hyperactive boy is not always a good combination, but we learn to live together. We had a huge fight one night. That's when she told her dad that he doesn't have the right to discipline him. Told her father that he was never there for her. Oh wow, we're bringing up deep stuff.
Oh yeah, she's like, I need to get it all off the chest right
all
now.
off. It's coming out now.
Yeah.
When she was 12, she stole from Emily's mom. Justin saw it.
Uh-oh.
Justin told his dad. Emily's mom confirmed it, and he gave her 3 smacks on the backside with a flip-flop. I know it's illegal now, but back then it was how we got disciplined. Believe me, I can still remember my mom chasing me with one of those flip-flops and being smacked on the butt with it. I am still here, though, but times have changed. Anywho, the reason why he was not in her life was that she went to her mom and told her mom a bunch of stories. Justin told his dad this because she had rules at her dad's home, and that was not going to work for her. When she stole, that just made her more angry because she could not do what she wanted. Mom was a lot more relaxed. Her mom and Karen made a case of abuse against my husband. There was no evidence, and my brother-in-law, husband's brother, is a lawyer. The case never went anywhere because they said that they would drop it if they could get a lounge suite and a bunch of other stuff. All right. Case was dropped when brother-in-law told them that that will not happen and that they were going to the officer with the statement. In the end, Karen went to stay with her mom, and Justin stayed with his dad because of what Karen and his mom did. Now, Karen is not my husband's bio daughter. Ready? Family tree. Okay? Think about it. Memorize it.
Memorize it. There's going to be a quiz.
He adopted her when she was 4. My husband met her mom when she was a month old. Okay, yeah. His brother advised him that it would be better to stay away, as if they could run to the police for this, what would be next? My husband agreed reluctantly and was not involved in her life from age 12 to 16.
Ooh.
Okay, so she started stealing, and then he backed away.
Yeah, and he was like, I gotta go. Bye.
Interesting. Then she came to live with her dad again when she was 17. Now where I am the step monster. Karen fought with Emily one morning because of Oliver being so hyper. I kind of lost my crap. I told her that she has no right to take on Emily in any way. We cannot do that to Oliver, so she does not have the right to do that to Emily. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I then went off on her that this is a household where everyone does housework. She doesn't clean her room. She thinks that everyone should bend to her whim because of what? You think your dad abandoned you? I just went all out and called her a B and a salute. By the way, she cheated on the good guy as well, that partner.
Okay.
Wow, okay. And I called her a bad mom. I know I'm the a-hole there, but at that moment, I was just done with the entitlement and her thinking that her living here is the best thing that happened to us. Now she wants to move out with her friend. This was going to happen this weekend, but it didn't happen. She is staying with her new boyfriend, the guy that she thought was Oliver's dad, but he isn't.
Oh,
The
drama?
the affair partner, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
He is a sweet guy and absolutely so in love with Karen. But she cheated on him with Oliver's dad. So now that she is single, she has connected with him again. Karen is a really beautiful young woman. Unfortunately, I have found out not so beautiful on the inside. So there it is. There is still so much that has happened. By the way, this has all happened in 2 months. I'm exhausted.
2 months. You need
2
a
months.
vacation.
For real skis. So let me know, am I the step monster for calling Karen a B? And we do have some comments and quite more to the story, but what do we think?
Nah, maybe she deserved it, but like, I don't know if it's your place to do that, you know?
Yeah, usually name calling's not the way to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so sure, I guess, but I feel like that doesn't mean that she's not in the wrong.
Exactly. Yeah.
for
Like
doing
she's
all that.
It seems like she is in the wrong for sure. But like maybe this is something that like your husband should have handled a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Comment number 1 says, from the title, I thought you called a child a witch. I was going to say, we all know that children can be total a-holes, but it's generally a bad thing to say it out loud.
Yeah.
But Karen is an adult who is absolutely being a witch, and you finally called her on it. Emily probably feels like you have her back, though, and since she's the minor in your care, that's a really good thing. I know it's his daughter and grandson, but your husband went above and beyond, letting her stay rent-free to get on her feet after she falsely accused him of abuse, and she repaid him by treating the rest of the family like crap. Yeah. OP responds, our concern is for Oliver. If she does come back, and I have a feeling it's going to happen, we would take them in again because of him. But we do have an update.
What?
Oh.
The update.
So, Karen will be back tonight. She phoned her dad and said that they will be back today. I don't know whether to pick up the rest of their stuff or to stay. I didn't add that they still have a lot of their things here, mostly personal belongings. And when she and her previous partner broke up, she only got to keep her and Oliver's things. She didn't pay for anything in their home, as she told her that he would pay for their place, utilities and such, as she needs the money to pay for Oliver's school, bus, and what he needs. Emily is staying with her mom for the week until we get Karen sorted out or know what's going to happen. Now on for tonight. We came up with a plan going forward if she decides to stay. Her dad has told her that she needs to apply for assistance from the school as a single mother to cover the school fees. She will pay towards her room and the board. It's a lot less than what she will pay if she has to move into her own place, but she will feel it. She will contribute to Oliver's fuel to get him to the bus and pick him up. But we hardly drive, except for the shops. My husband has the company car when working, so he will pick up Oliver in the afternoons when he can with the company car, and I will do it if he has to be called to a patient. As I mentioned, he's a paramedic, and in our country, the paramedics have their own 4-wheel drive vehicle to get to accidents or patients before the ambulance. She will still need to contribute to the fuel. She will buy her own laundry stuff to wash Oliver's things when he wets the bed. We have been covering that, and our water and laundry detergent has gone through the roof. She will cook 3 times a week. I know she is to help Oliver with her homework, but when I picked him up, I would start dinner and he would sit by the kitchen table. I would make food and help him with homework. It can be done.
Yeah.
You can do 2 things at once.
You can multitask.
If she is not going to be home to cook dinner on her night, it will fall on the next day. No getting out of it. Gotta take your turn.
Gotta do it.
The new boyfriend does not spend the night. There is a 13-year-old here and she has a little boy. He can visit until 10, but no exceptions.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid thing.
Very reasonable. She will let us know at a reasonable time if she will not be home on her days to cook. Not 30 minutes before she gets home. I start at 3 p.m. My husband works from 6 to 6, some days and some nights. A lot of times he does 48 and 72-hour shifts.
That's crazy to me.
Oh my gosh.
Is this man, works in healthcare?
He's a paramedic, yeah.
That should not be legal.
Luckily, he can sleep at home until he is called out, as we live 2 kilometers from his base. Okay, yeah. But he cannot cook as he doesn't know when a call will come in. In that time, I let him get as much sleep as he can. It can get pretty hectic sometimes. We will see tonight what will happen. Will she stay? Will she move?
Will she stay or will she go?
But the terms are there. No changing them. I still think it's fair, not just for our house to have peace again, but maybe she will learn to grow up and not everyone is always going to be there to cover her when she messes up. But you know who will always be there for you? Us. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio.
One of those.
We've got full episodes with more stories just like this one. Just search,
so many.
Okay, story time.
Search it up.
We'll always be there. Okay, wow. So we've got a little bit more to the story, but what do we think about this master plan?
I think the boundaries are good.
I think they're great.
I think putting all those boundaries up, putting that schedule up, I think it's good.
Yeah. Are we going to guess that she is going to stay, or are we going to guess that she's going to come and go?
That's too many boundaries.
Yeah.
Bye.
Let's see. I'm also going to add that if she goes and she does miss the bus for Oliver at any time because she cannot get her time management right, she needs to make a plan. We cannot look after him for the day. I have always been her backup and she knows it. Maybe then she will get herself ready before they are late. We all get up at 5. Oliver takes 20 minutes tops to get him ready. I don't help with that as it should be her responsibility. He is her son. He is the happiest child in the morning, already chatting at lightning speed. Emily and I are not morning people, so we take time to thaw out and grunt at each other to say good morning. That's our thing. So having a motor mouth so early has been an adjustment for both of us. If they do go, I'm going to miss chatting in the morning, to be honest. And that's the end of the story. So we actually don't get an answer.
What the freakity frick?
I want an answer.
Give me an answer. Give me an answer.
But wow, yeah, she's got it. She's got it under control.
Yeah, OP knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she's like, these are our problems. These are how to fix it. All right, you're in or you're out. Okay?
Yeah, you can do it on my way or it's the highway.
Exactly. But wow, whoopsie, that's the end of it.
I ruined my stepson's wedding just because I laughed.
Poor people should never laugh.
Throwaway, shortened for character count. For context, I have been married to my husband for just over 20 years. We started dating when my stepkids were 5 and 3. Our kids are Adam, 28, stepkid number 1, Ben, 26, stepkid number 2, Charles, 20, David, 17, and Ellie, 13. Y'all got a whole freaking full house, man.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, this comes from Afraid Mammoth 5574, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, Adam is getting married at the end of summer to his fiancée, Alice, 27. We have all been very excited for them. All of the kids have roles for the wedding. Charles is the best man, the other 2 boys are groomsmen, and Ellie is a junior bridesmaid. Last weekend, we had a dinner for my husband's birthday. All of the kids attended along with Alice. The topic of the wedding came up again, and this is where it started to go downhill. Ellie brought up that she was so excited to go dress shopping and that we planned to go to a bigger city in a few weeks to get her a dress and me a stepmom of the groom dress. At that, Alice looked at Adam sideways and responded that we only needed to worry about one dress, Ellie's. Ellie kind of laughed and said, "What are you expecting Mom to wear, a suit?" Alice responded with, "OP's not going. You know we are keeping our guest list very limited to only family and a few close friends."
Wild.
What? Adam and Alice have been to our house numerous times for holidays, dinners, just to say hi since they've been engaged. This has never been brought up. That's insane. Pretty quickly, things escalated. The Cliff Notes version is that Charles asked them to clarify if they were choosing to uninvite me now or if I was never invited. Alice confirmed the latter. Why? Adam says it's because I'm not his mom. Charles, David, and Ellie argued with Adam and Alice that none of them were going to go if I wasn't invited. That it was cruel to leave me out, given I've been his parent for a majority of his life and loved him like my own. My husband and I admittedly sat there for a minute just effing shocked. Adam finally turned to my husband and said, "Well?" My husband told him he wouldn't be going either. Adam then turned to me and asked if I was really going to let everyone ruin his wedding on my behalf. Opie's just sitting there like, I didn't tell anyone to do anything. You just didn't invite me and then everyone said they don't want to come. That's not my fault.
Yeah.
Here's where I might be the a-hole. I just laughed. I don't know what came over me, but the entire thing was just so ridiculous that laughing was the only thing I could get out. I told my husband I'd be waiting in the car and left, and then promptly bawled my eyes out. That's so upsetting. You should never kind of force the parent title on a stepkid or, a child that,
Sure.
It should always be up to their comfortability. But to have thought that you were a parent figure for literally like freaking over 20 years, like 23 years, you thought, I see myself as a parent to this child sees it that way too, and then to find out in this moment, no.
Yeah, that really threw me off because at first he said that OP wasn't invited. I was like, wait a second, are they just friends or something? Because if you're just inviting like close friends and family, this is family.
This is your father's wife.
Yeah.
And a person who has been effectively your parent for 23 years.
Yeah, like what?
And this is how you're treating them? Anyways, Charles, David, and Ellie are not talking to Adam. Adam called my husband yesterday to try and smooth things over. He was still adamant that I'm not invited, and it's their wedding. He also requested I apologize for laughing at him. My husband told him, tough crap. It's their wedding and they can invite whoever they want, but they can't control who will actually go. He said they owe me an apology and that Adam should be ashamed of himself. I'm getting texts now asking what the F I did and why I'm being a step monster and ruining the wedding. Am I the a-hole? So clearly not.
You literally didn't do anything.
You did nothing.
Yeah.
They were attacking you and said, are you going to ruin our wedding?
Yeah.
When everyone else was defending you and you went,
Yeah.
okay, and then left
Yeah.
and cried.
Yeah, laughing at that is like a completely valid response.
Yeah, like it's like people forget like laughter is also just like kind of a shock response. Some of OP's comments. Commenter says, I feel like there's a lot missing here. You've been married to his dad since he was 8. That was years of elementary, middle, high school, college, 20 years. Is his mother living? Did his fiance influence him? Just seems odd to not invite his dad's wife of 20 years and call her not family. I don't think you're the a-hole, but I just want to know more about the past 20 years. OP says, I'm sorry, I had to cut a lot out for character count to post. When Adam called, my husband did ask him if I had done anything, if it was related to biomom. She has never gotten along with us. If I had overstepped in any way, Adam says no. It's just they want family only. Stepdad is invited as far as we know. I was a stay-at-home mom for my stepkids' childhood, and we had 50-50. My husband has always worked a lot, but has been as involved as possible. The house and child rearing mostly fell to me, though. I love our kids to pieces. I thought we had made it clear from the beginning that I am/was another parent that loves them, not a replacement mom. We've never had any issues, and I thought up until now that we were particularly close. Our communication has slowed since he met Alice, but he was calling me about once or twice a week prior to this. I feel like Alice must have influenced in some way. She must have said, oh, well, like, that's not your real mom.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh, maybe it's not my real mom.
Yeah, maybe like she's got a bad relationship with a stepmom or something, and she's projecting or there's so many ways this could go. It's so big.
I mean, like a lot of people have that weird idea that if it's not blood related, then it's not real family, and maybe she's got like that kind of messed up thinking.
Yeah, and maybe they're just trying to like budget and using that as an excuse or something like that.
Yeah. Weird. Alice and I have gone shopping on occasion, gotten lunch. I even went with her to the florist for the wedding because her mom wasn't available and Adam got called into work. There has to be something/someone causing an issue, and my husband and I are baffled. Commenter asks, is his mom invited? Opie says, yes. Yes, as far as we've heard. Stepdad is also invited. What? We, my husband and I, have never gotten along with mom, but still play nice as we still have 50-50 of younger stepson, Ben. Adam and his mom had a falling out a few years ago as she was starting to treat him the way she's always treated husband and I, that is, poorly. I don't know how to nicely explain other than she's a self-absorbed person. Adam hasn't wanted to talk about it much, and we won't push it. I know they talk and visit still, but how close they are, I have no idea. And custody of Ben at 26. Yes, he's disabled. He can choose where he's staying as he likes, but mostly sticks to a 50-50 schedule still unless there is a family event or vacation. He is pretty independent, but not able to live on his own. Guardianship is probably a better word for what we have now instead of custody. Commenter says, absolutely not the a-hole. Assuming you and Adam have gotten along fine until now, it's absolutely wild that they wouldn't invite you. Only family and a few close friends when a step-parent literally counts as family, and the nerve to accuse you of ruining his wedding. I don't blame you for laughing. Opie responds, it's probably also relevant, but my husband's parents are long since deceased. My parents, dad, stepmom, and mom, have been very involved with all the kids since they were little. They are also not going since if I'm not family, they aren't either. Were your parents invited and you weren't?
This makes absolutely no sense.
Whoa. I have no idea. Like, there must have been some sort of perceived slight that they think you've done towards them.
The only thing I can think of is like maybe the biomom is paying for the wedding, and because she doesn't really get along with OP, she's like, no, you shouldn't invite her. You know what I mean? Maybe, but still, it doesn't really like make that much sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's really it. I don't know.
My brother and sister-in-law, their daughter, my cousin, they call him uncle, and several of my other family members that have been around since stepkids were little have also dropped. They are up to like 20 people. They have rescinded their RSVP for a wedding of maybe 60 people. Yeah, you really wanted to keep the budget low, so you will. Good job.
Good job.
Commenter says, wait, hold up. Your family was invited, but not you? Then what the heck did Adam expect when it came out you're not invited? OP says, that's my family's take. Why are they invited, but I'm not? They aren't related to my stepkids by blood either, but are apparently family? To be fair, my family is larger than my husband's, stepdads, and biomoms. My stepkids were the first grandkids on my side. They were not with biomom and dad's family, and were absolutely spoiled rotten growing up. Charles is now supposed to meet Adam for coffee over the weekend. I warned him that truly I don't think it's coming from Adam and to try to calm about it. Commenter says, what is the nature of relationship with Adam? Is his mother in the picture? Could his fiance be in his ear? OP says, I thought we were close. Besides the normal teenager, I don't have to listen to you BS phase. We have never fought. We've always had him and Ben 50-50. As a teen and on, he's butted heads with his mother. There have been times over the years where Adam has come to my husband and I and asked questions from things his mother has said, but we've always been forthcoming with info. Example of that is that his mom called me a homewrecker. This upset Adam. Adam came pissed at us, explained that no, bio mom and dad were long since broken up, and mom even had a fiance who was not current stepdad when I met dad. Pulled receipts. Adam, upset with mom, blew over and on to the next thing. We still deal with bio mom though, and I do have a hard time believing she'd pull something at this point. Alice and I aren't super close, but I thought that we had a good relationship. I have always tried to include her. Sometimes she takes up my offer, and sometimes she doesn't. I know she sees biomom quite a bit, and that side of Adam's family too. She was raised by her grandparents and does not talk about bio parents often. Commenter says, how did Ben react to this? At this point, I probably would not go to the wedding and would block him and his future wife. They would have to grovel in order to go. They made it clear they don't see you as family, so you don't need to do anything for them going forward. Hope he responds, Ben was very upset and confused. He is autistic, so what exactly the argument was about doesn't quite click, but he's mostly upset Adam says I'm not their parent and his siblings are all fighting. We've sat him down since and explained that I love him dearly and will never go anywhere. All of us love Adam and are just hurt, and that he himself can choose to go to the wedding or not. He doesn't have to choose sides, and we will still love him if he goes. Honestly, he probably will. He loves cake and dancing. LOL. He seems to be doing just fine since. He hasn't asked about Adam, but will go to see his mom's tomorrow and probably see him there. More info on everyone's relationship. It was hard to include every bit of context in the post because of the character limit, but I quit my job when Charles was 6 months old. Adam would have been 8, almost 9, no affair. I met my husband when he'd been divorced for over a year. Biomom was engaged to someone else. If you ask their biomom, she'll say, I always overstepped. If you ask her how, she'll give examples like I went to school events. So did stepdad. I helped with homework. I spent too much time with them. She would thank me for loving her kids so much, and then turn around and berate my husband for me loving kids that aren't hers too much. Another example is that in the beginning, she wanted to communicate with me directly more. Said she loved the communication and that I was easier to deal with than my husband. Next argument with my husband, she brought up that I was weird and too involved and she shouldn't have to talk to me whatsoever. I haven't talked to her since. Periodically, she has brought up that I was easier to talk to and she doesn't understand why communication just had to go through my husband. After several years of trying to appease her, we quit to just focus on keeping our family happy and supported. It's been 23 years now of dealing with her. I've been to therapy multiple times to resolve whatever issues she says I have. It did help with strategies to deal with her. Truly, it's just that she has mental issues. Their dad did work a lot. He has always been on nights. It's changed slightly over the years, but we have stepkids Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every other Monday. His days off have always fallen on those days, so he can spend the max amount of time with them, but usually he worked 1 to 2 of those nights. Very rarely would he work on days we had my stepkids, usually on days we didn't. We still currently try to do dates on days when Ben is not with us. I hope that makes sense and clears up some questions for you. There are so many comments.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Commenter says, are Alice's parents still together? Has she assumed you're some kind of evil stepmother? Does she have a bad relationship with her stepmom and doesn't want to invite her? Opie says, her mom and dad are her grandparents. She hasn't talked about it much with me specifically, but her bio mom is deceased, substances, and her bio father's in prison. She talked about it some with my husband, who was adopted by his aunt and uncle. Father not in the picture, and mother passed away from when he was 4. Oof. My stepmom has also talked with her at one point because she too was adopted by her grandparents for similar reasons. It just adds to our confusion. We have such a mix of types of family regardless of blood that my mother-in-law has been laying it on thick that I need to smooth things over because family is family and I'm the parent, so it's my responsibility to fix it. But I'm not ready to talk to Adam. And we're going to pause there because that was a big old info dump.
A lot of information.
Any thoughts?
Just like processing all of that.
Yeah.
Like that kind of is feeding into my theory of it being like the bio mom kind of convincing Adam in a way. You know, I still don't know if I have enough evidence for that to be true, but if the bio mom clearly doesn't like OP even more than I thought before, then I would not be surprised if she was
saying all this stuff to at least maybe Alice.
Yeah.
But no, it really doesn't make sense why, because before we said, oh, maybe, you know, she's got that type of idea that like, oh, it's only blood related. But clearly they're inviting everyone else who is not blood related, has a close relationship with OP's like parents.
Yeah.
Sees them as grandparents. Alice comes from like a non-traditional family background herself.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really doesn't make sense. To me, the only thing that does make sense is your idea of the bio mom being somehow
right? Like
weaseling her way in.
Yeah.
Edit. Sorry, my mother, LOL. My mother-in-law is deceased. And one more thought. Adam will always be my first son, whether he thinks of me as his mom or not. I thought we had been pretty clear throughout the years that I love him, regardless of what he thinks of me, and that my involvement extends to whatever he wants of me and some fair non-negotiables, mostly safety things, chores his dad agreed on when I asked, that kind of thing. I couldn't get in with my therapist this week, but I do have an appointment next week, and we will try to formulate a well-thought-out response back. I am certainly not a perfect person or parent, but I won't intentionally sabotage him further. I do love a good revenge story, but that's not it when it comes to my kids. I've talked to the youngest 3, and they have reassured me that it's their choice whether or not they go, and I won't push them on it. I have been reminding them that he is still their brother, and it doesn't sound like him, mostly for Charles. He is very outspoken and protective. Charles is supposed to meet with him this weekend, and I'm hoping we get some clearer answers from that. And there is an update 5 days later.
Okay.
Any final thoughts before we jump into it?
I'm just ready to roll right in.
I just need to know why.
And we need solutions.
We have so much information.
For real.
Except for why Adam and Alice did this.
I feel like they're just dangling it in front of us.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why would they do it? Who's to say?
I do. Pull the freaking Scooby-Doo mask off already.
Yeah.
I need to know.
Update. The short is, if you guessed it was related to BioMom, you were correct. Woohoo! You nailed that. You nailed that, Angie. You nailed that. Woo! I didn't want this to be the case. Adam rescheduled with Charles for Monday, citing Easter weekend. Fair enough. He also texted my husband to let him know that him and Alice would be doing Easter with her parents. We expected that. At some point on Sunday, Ellie texted Alice. I'm not sure what exactly was said, but it prompted Alice to spill everything that was going on with her parents. I have met them a few times, but they live a few hours away. They encouraged her and Adam to reach out to us to clear everything up. Monday, we dropped Ben off to BioMom's. He stayed an extra night for Easter fun. A few hours later, she began to blow up my husband's phone as Ben mentioned the fight. My husband answered one call in which she was screaming and promptly hung up. He texted her that the siblings argued, everything's fine, and that if Ben has any further questions, we will talk about it when he's back with us. For some of the things she texted, we knew she was the root of all this.
There we go.
Monday, Adam also met up with Charles, and he did come clean. Charles texted us to see if it was okay if they came over after, and we said yes. I'm not gonna lie, Adam looked a mess. He immediately began crying and apologizing. The short and sweet of it is that he's been trying to mend bridges with BioMom. Their wedding isn't 60 people, it's blown up to about double that, and they've been struggling to figure out how to pay for it. At one of their visits, Alice let slip, and BioMom jumped to help pay for things. Yeah, and then that goes into, now I have control over your wedding, and you have to choose the people that I want there.
See, we've read too many of these stories. We know.
Just know. It slowly snowballed from there, from small requests to big requests. I'm not sure what the final nail in the coffin was, but it ended with Biomom requesting I not be there. Adam said it was easier to hurt me than risk World War III with his mom. By the way, it would be World War III if you don't listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime.
Or else we declare war.
We declare war on you. Any final thoughts before we finish this story off, now that we finally have the truth?
I freaking told you
You
so.
freaking told us.
I told you so.
You called it so accurately.
Yeah, there's just so many stories again with like the parents or whoever paying for it now has like, it's usually control over the guest list that is most common.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm glad that things are now coming to, we're getting a solution.
Yeah, coming to light.
Yeah, Adam knows. Adam feels bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Adam. It's not you. You're good. I forgive you. I do. OP.
I personally forgive you. I don't know about Adam.
forgive you.
I mean, I don't know about OP.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely something that you can come back from
For
with
sure.
Adam. Like, you just have to have a conversation. And then hopefully maybe everyone will come back to his wedding.
Absolutely.
But let's see what Adam does. Alice's parents were less than pleased to find out how they've been with the wedding and budget, and even less so at Biomom's antics. They're trying to figure out how to start covering the payments Biomom has made. We've decided to help some with this. Adam also asked if we could meet again in a few days with Alice, and we've said yes. There is still a lot of ground to cover for this to be close to mended. I am still hurt, but mostly I'm angry on behalf of my oldest son. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Good ending. I mean, like, it's not over yet, but we're on the way to figuring it all out.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love a story with a solution at the end.
Me
so
too.
Nice.
But that is the end of that story. My goddaughter's stepmother tried to replace her real mother and got a dose of karma.
Karma needs to come to someone. I was tired and I needed to dunk my head in the ice bath.
This is a story about my unofficial daughter, Ella. Ella is the daughter of a dear friend of mine who I will call Mary. Mary and I had been friends since secondary school, although we had less contact during college. Due to her studying abroad, we remained close. By the way, this comes from burner account 909876. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, at Mary's and her husband's Tom's wedding, I played an important role. When Ella was born, I was made godmother. When my twins were born, Mary became godmother to my daughter. We were part of each other's family, honorary aunts and uncles. 14 years ago, Mary got sick with cancer. Hubby and I stepped in to help where we could. Ella was 10 at the time of the diagnosis. It seemed to go well at first until it didn't. Mary passed away when Ella was 11. We were all devastated.
Oh.
Mary's parents had left Mary with some family heirloom jewelry, and when Mary was terminal, she made her will. I will be honest, Tom is a good man at heart, but has no backbone and does everything to avoid confrontation.
Noodle spine.
Noodle Tom.
Noodle time. Noodle spine.
Noodle Tom.
Tom hands.
The man is worse than me. I know that I also lacked a backbone. Mary was very afraid what would happen if he would marry again and that person wouldn't have Ella's interests at heart. In her infinite wisdom, Mary made an ironclad will. The heirloom jewelry was left with me, as Mary wanted me to give Ella everything when she would marry. Tom had documentation and insurance papers of every piece, as did the attorney who made Mary's will. After Mary's death and funeral, Tom and Ella got our support. We helped Ella navigate a life without her mother, standing in when she needed me as a mother figure. We helped Tom with whatever support he needed. And when Ella was 12, Tom met Clarissa. Clarissa couldn't have children of her own, and when she and Ella were introduced to one another, she latched on to Ella. Clarissa tried to erase Mary's memory in whatever way she could and inserted herself in every moment possible. She introduced herself as Ella's mom and completely ignored every boundary Ella put up.
You could not.
No.
Oh my God. Again, wait, and this is the mom. The mom passed away.
Mom just passed away, and now she's introducing herself.
Yeah, forget about that old thing. That's yesterday's news.
That's
I'm new
yesterday's
mom. In town.
I'm today's mom.
New and improved mom 2.0.
She became jealous of the bond between Ella and me and tried many different things to separate us. Things took a bad turn when Ella was 14. I remember this day very well. It was a Monday. I had an appointment with a client at the venue they owned at the time. This appointment was later in the day. The venue itself was a nice one and often used for reunions, birthdays, weddings, and the owner let the elderly people use it twice a week for their hobbies and activities. Tom's mother, Stacy, who was still alive then, was a volunteer and helped in the organization. I was waiting in the lobby when Stacy saw me, came up, and we started to chat. Eventually, the owner came and greeted us with the remark,
"Oh, how wonderful to see you here. I'm so excited for Tom and Clarissa's wedding this upcoming Saturday. I'm sure you are as well."
Stacy and I were shocked.
Wedding?
What wedding? No clue. The owner sensed something was wrong. When the shock had worn off, the owner and I went to the office and conducted the business that I came for. After this was done, I asked some questions. Wedding is this Saturday? What time? How many people? I managed to gather everything. The owner even showed me the contract with both signatures of Tom and Clarissa. She gathered that we didn't know and was somewhat shocked as she knew our history. Then I went to find Stacy and told her everything. This woman
Was livid.
Her son was getting remarried and she wasn't informed nor invited.
Yeah.
Now you look like you're in Greece.
I'll go Greenland and Greenland and go Greenland and go Greenland.
I also hadn't heard anything from Ella. She told me that Tom and she would go away to have a father-daughter day. At this point, we had the growing suspicion that Tom had been lying to Ella about that Saturday's plans. Seems like there's a lot of lies going around about this wedding.
Too many lies to keep track of. Speaking of trying to keep track of things, can you give me a TLDR?
Basically.
Sorry. So could you give everyone else a TLDR?
Yeah. Okay, so I believe what happened is OP is the goddaughter to her friend who passed, her daughter. And this daughter's the friend's husband remarried to this new stepmom who's kind of been inserting herself in every way. And I believe
Wait, the friend's husband or
OP's friend's husband. OP's recently deceased friend's husband. He remarried.
Yep.
And the new stepmother of this daughter has been trying to insert herself in every way.
Yep.
And I think what's happening now is that Tom, who's the husband, and the new stepmom, I guess this is when they got married. Sorry. So this is in the past before they were married. So now OP is recounting the time when they found out that they were getting married.
They said they're not married yet.
Yeah, they weren't married at
Okay.
the time in the past. They are now. Tom is now getting married to Clarissa. And OP found out that Tom's mom, Stacy, didn't know that this wedding was happening.
Okay.
I also hadn't heard anything from Ella. She told me that Tom and she would go away to have a father-daughter day. At this point, we had the growing suspicion that Tom had been lying to Ella about the Saturday plan. That is crazy. That is crazy to be like the daughter and expecting a father-daughter day, and you just get your father marrying this terrible stepmom.
Yeah, you're literally marrying the evil stepmom.
Surprise wedding?
You are a Disney character.
To unravel this growing mystery, she and I went to pay Tom a visit. We had some time until Ella came home, and we didn't want her to see or hear any of this. Stacy went off the moment he opened the door. She barged in and furiously told him to explain himself. Clarissa came home and joined in the fight. Accusations flew left and right. In a quiet moment, I asked, "Does Ella know about your wedding?" "What wedding?" "I don't know about anything about a wedding." Ella had come home earlier than expected. Practice had finished sooner. Then the realization hit poor Ella. She asked Tom if that was the plan for Saturday. Their wedding instead of some father-daughter bonding? Clarissa cut in and told her that she had been motherless long enough and this wedding would give her a new mother.
Oh my God. You can't replace my mom. Stop trying to. You're not my mom.
Ooh, boy. Ella didn't even get the chance to say anything. Her beloved grandma Stacy did that for her. Stacy tore Clarissa a new one. Bluntly told her that she had a wonderful daughter-in-law and that she would and could never replace her. A wedding wouldn't change the fact that she disregarded Ella's wishes from the get-go, trying to erase the memory of a good woman and mother, and trying to destroy the relationship between me and Ella. She also told her own son that he was a weak-willed man, and that is why he was never made the executor of Mary's will, because she had always known deep down that she couldn't trust him to protect their daughter.
Oh my God. She sounds like a lovely bowl of soup that you just want to slurp on a cold day.
Yeah. To add insult to injury, she told him she disowned him and would make sure neither he nor the piss-poor substitute would get anything from her. Props to Stacy, man. Stacy did not hold back. She had something to say and she said it. She shouted it. And with that, she asked me to drive her home. Ella was enraged and wanted to live with her grandmother. Tom and Clarissa said no. Ella came to us, but we couldn't do anything. Tom tried to threaten us by saying that he would forbid Ella to come to us if we did or said anything. Hubby laughed in his face, asked if he was Clarissa's lapdog now, and said that we didn't need or say anything to dang him or Clarissa in Ella's eyes, as we couldn't do a better job than they were doing themselves. Ella became silent in the next couple of days. They became the talk of the town.
I mean, it's a big blowout. I can't understand why.
Stacy told a lot of people what was going on. People do love drama. So Saturday rolls around. Our children had their prearranged sleepover with some relatives, something that we saw as a blessing in disguise. We were nervous. We decided to go to Stacy's as we figured, she was just as anxious. At 11:30 a.m., Tom called us in a fury asking where Ella was. We had no idea what he was talking about. After some back and forth and us telling Tom to stop the legal threats, we got the story. Apparently, Clarissa had bought Ella a dress for the wedding. Absolutely not Ella's style, but hey, it's not like Clarissa ever listened to what Ella told her. Ella had taken it upon herself to buy a black dress and shoes as if in mourning. Yeah. I mean, celebrate your mom over this.
Yeah. I mean, it's a statement.
She had managed to sneak in the dress, and when asked for privacy to get changed, she spilled some drink on the dress Clarissa got her, then put the black dress on.
Wow.
But she didn't stop there.
I feel like that's like almost like art, you know?
Yeah, I mean, this is like Princess Di level of.
Yeah.
Clarissa hadn't put on her wedding dress yet. She had booked a room that had something like a sliding wall, separating two rooms, each with their own beds, vanity, etc. She had stored her wedding dress in the front room, and she was in the other room where the hair makeup stylist was busy doing the hair and makeup of the blushing bride. Ella snuck in and put itching powder in Clarissa's dress.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. I mean, she's 14.
Wow. But yeah, still, that's
yeah, it's a big move, but she is 14. I can't say it's a mature move, but she's also 14.
We don't condone it, but it is a nice little Home Alone prank.
Yeah. Then she left the room as quietly as she had come.
Itching powder. What's itching powder?
It's itching powder. What do you mean? It makes you itch.
Why do they have that?
Have you not seen like any movie with a bully in it? They have using itching powder? Yeah.
No, I've never heard of itching powder.
What? It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's super common in like every high school movie with a bully.
Well, no, I've never heard of it.
Tom flipped his lid when he saw his daughter. Ella couldn't care less, showed him the dress Clarissa gave her, and sat at the front of the venue. When Clarissa saw her, she seemed very angry, but focused on the ceremony. She was visibly uncomfortable and kept pulling her dress and scratching it.
Nina Nilsson says, mature, shimmersure.
Yeah. When the famous line of object now or forever hold your peace was said, Ella made her speech.
Oh, wow.
Ella is pulling out all the stops,
all the stops, dude. Yeah.
This is an impressive 14-year-old. The owner later called and told us what was said. Ella spoke her mind about what Clarissa had done and not done, how Tom had failed her as a father, and that Clarissa would never be her mother alongside some other things. Then she left the venue.
Kind of just like poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is iconic.
Because it's iconic.
Tom tried to call Ella, but she was ignoring his calls. Stacy managed to contact Ella and picked her up. Afterwards, she called Tom, basically saying her granddaughter would spend the rest of the weekend at her house, and she would bring Ella home Sunday evening. Ella was silent, but had a look of satisfaction on her face. We hugged a lot and told her she's always welcome at our house and that she was loved. Sunday evening, Stacy takes Ella back home. According to Stacy, Clarissa looked like a slice of raw steak due to her scratching herself.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Clarissa
Ooh.
started to freak out the moment they entered the house, screeching at Ella about, "You ruined our wedding! This was out of line!" And my personal favorite, "How could she do this to her mother?"
Stop taking the role of mother.
Girl,
Like,
you
let
can't
go of
catch
it.
a hint. Oh, how I wish I could have seen this myself. When those words left Clarissa's lips, Stacy slapped her and told Clarissa that she would never utter those words to Ella ever again. She wasn't her mother, and her spreading her legs for her son wouldn't change that fact. Stacy read them the riot act, telling them that if they even thought of barring her and me and hubby from Ella's life, or making Ella's life more difficult, she would make their lives a living heck.
Again, we're not advocating for the slapping.
No. But if you say these things, you should expect to maybe get slapped by someone.
Yeah. You can't go around saying these things not expecting consequences, but ideally you're not the one to go. But
we don't advise you guys to be the perpetrators of the
no one slap people. Not a good move.
Yes, but also don't say crazy things and expect not to be slapped.
Yeah. Expect to slap, but don't be the slapper.
Then she left. Tom and Clarissa didn't try anything until Stacy passed away when Ella was 16. She kept her word, disowning her own son. He only got what the law allowed him. The rest went to Ella. Since Ella was still a minor at the time of the will change, Stacy named 2 executors to make sure Ella got what Stacy left her. This included her apartment and some savings. Can you guess who those 2 were? Give yourselves a cookie if you think it was me and hubby. Did we know? Yes. Did we say anything to Tom and Clarissa before Stacy's passing? Nope. Did they lose their minds? Yup. Did we care? Absolutely not. Did they try to fight the will? Of course they did. Did it matter? Nope. Stacy had made sure that several independent doctors had declared her of sound mind before she made the will. Since Stacy had also given Tom his rightful inheritance by law, he couldn't do a dang thing. Tom called us after the court's decision to try and get us to give him the role of executor of the will, alongside Mary's belongings that she had given to me. He tried saying that as Ella's father and Mary's widower, he had more right to that role. We just hung up, and he didn't try again. But we would love if you could try and listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final
dive
thoughts?
into it.
Okay. When Ella turned 18, everything was transferred to her. Ella left the house, and from there, she slowly rebuilt somewhat of a relationship with Tom and, to an extent, Clarissa. Clarissa calmed down a bit after Stacy's slap, and Ella became an expert in shutting them both down. Hubby and I have stayed out of it. After Tom's attempt of getting his hands on Ella's inheritance from both her mother and grandmother, we've had no contact. We never contacted them, and they never contacted us. We have always supported Ella in the following years. She went to college, traveled abroad, got a job, and got her life together.
Woo!
And that is the end of that story.
And the end of this episode.
So, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you, and see you tomorrow.